I've got noise going on because I have two windows up. Whoa, welcome everyone. 8/8/1961. A legend was born, and all kind of noise in the background was also born, apparently. So someone do something about that. Welcome everyone. The Clobbering Times issue number 189, 889 overall, but more importantly, Fantastic Four. Number 1. 60 years ago today, 60 years ago, the Marvel's first family was introduced, and saw a little bit of it there. I'm going to recommend highly that little bitty clip you saw there. It's from a great Fantastic Four documentary that you can find on YouTube. But, well, there would not be a Clobbering Times or any kind of geek like this at all, being me, and many of us probably, without the Fantastic Four. And I love them. They mean a great deal to me. And this is it. This is where it all started. 60 years to this day. And we're just great to see so many wonderful friends here. We're going to celebrate a little bit about Fantastic Four number 1 and talk a little bit about what Marvel's first family means to us as fans. Because for those who do not know, even if you are a fan of us sniffing and snorting or Marvel Comics, and FF's not your bag, may not be your favorite comic or whatever, without it and without the background noise, there would be no comics at all. None of you, if you're an Avengers fan, you're an X-Men fan, Spider-Man fan, whatever, Thor, whatever is your favorite Marvel hero. In fact, even if you're not into the Marvel books, and that what they did for comics at that point, that renaissance of the 60s, what Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created, well, hey, none of us will be here to talk comics. So you don't have to be an FF fan to appreciate what they did for the art form. And their co-creators, let's give them a little love there, back in their heyday right there. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created something that will live forever in spite of the way Marvel Comics treats it, and they treat it very poorly. So we're going to celebrate it a little bit here on, of course, what is Jack Kirby month, the month of the creator of all these wonderful characters and many more. It's his birth month. Proud to share a birth month with the King of Comics and Gene Roddenberry. And so today it's all about the Fantastic Four. It's all about FF number 1, my friends. And I want to welcome some very dear friends to this panel that I'm just happy to see. It is always a pleasure to announce my wonderful friends in the Global Geek Gang. And we should go, of course, as always, ladies first. The wonderful Purple Valkyrie is here. Thank you so much for being here, Purple.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
It is wonderful to see you, my friend. And, of course, there's a link to her and the channels of many other of my fine friends here. So please, of course, go, if you haven't done already, my good friends in the chat, please go follow their great channels. Also here with us is another great bud that one of my first pals I made here when I moved over to YouTube, Mr. Stone Loki. What's up, brother?
Hail, brother. Hail, chat. Hail to everyone on the panel. It is going. We are cooking. Light the fires, Valhalla, and hence why I'm using the Johnny Storm avatar today. Hell yeah. Fantastic Four and Jack Kirby. Hell yes. That's what I got to say.
And that's what we're here for, man. I'll tell you what. Always a distinguished guest, and always very happy to have him. He's a man with little time, but he loves he has little time today, but he has a lot of time for the FF. He's a great buddy of mine. LT Lord Thoth, brother, welcome.
Hail, brother. Hail to everybody here in the panel. Wow. What a talented group of individuals we have here today. Bright, intelligent. It's great to be a part of this. Thank you very much. Everybody in the chat, hail to everybody there. Looks like the fires are burning already. So hail to all of you. This is a great comic book and something that I'm proud to be a part of here today. Thank you.
Let's see. I think Nick will show up later. I hope we'll see. We also have with us, of course, the great Raymond Feliciano, who is an author in his own right, and I think he has. I think he sort of likes the Fantastic Four. Is that safe to say, Raymond?
Oh yeah. It's been around almost just about as long as I've been around.
Wow,
that's old.
I'm proud to say it's been around longer than me because there's so few things that have, and I'm just that are still with us. So yeah, great, man.
Got me started on my comic book kick.
Oh, excellent. The great Mark D with us. See us here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's an honor to be on this panel. As you can tell from my avatar, how much I love the thing. Maybe second to your love of the thing, but that's what really got me into comics. And it's just great to be part of this panel today. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about all things FF and Kirby.
Absolutely. And as part, of course, of my Global Geek Gang, we have 3 of the pop culture activists. We have 4 of them because you're one as well. Therefore, a foursome of them. So what do you know? We have, of course, Retro Dicky. What's up, buddy?
Cheers, Globby, and hail to the panel, hail to the chat. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much. I bow to you, comic aficionados. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy everything and all the knowledge that you can grace us with. Of course, I used to enjoy watching the Fantastic Four cartoons as a kid. So, cheers to everybody. Thank you.
Nice. We appreciate you being here, man. And also part of that illustrious group is the great Ash Singh. Ash, buddy.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? This should be a great show with amazing people. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be interesting, too, because I'm a Fantastic Four fan in reverse. My first introduction to FF was the films where Chris Evans was the Human Torch. Mm-hmm. So, and then I went back and watched the original shows at a later date. So it'll be interesting to dive into that aspect. So it'll be great to see everything, but also appreciate the original comics as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, absolutely. And I love that avatar you had there because I love that particular FF cartoon. And finally, the founder of the pop culture, I can't resist saying activist. It's the archivist. Now, the thing is, even though his name is Jed, but he actually does not like the Fantastic Four, but we'll let him come on anyway. Isn't that right? Are you there, dude?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I was tweeting it out. Oh yeah, brother, I'd like to thank you for this because Fantastic Four has a near and dear place to my heart too. It was one of my very first comic that I got to start reading. So. Along with Superman. It was a tie between those two. So, thank you for letting me celebrate in the 60th anniversary that Marvel is not going to do. So
certainly not adequately. That's for sure. They've proven that. I don't know if any of you have seen some of the dumb crap they planned. Oh, God. They've got, first of all, they did this live story, The Fantastic Four, because for blood pressure reasons, I won't go into what happens in that thing. But they're also doing such wonderful things as, listen, they did this to Giant Size X-Men a couple of years ago. Bunch of different artists redrawing Fantastic Four #1 and Fantastic Four #3. Ooh, be still my heart. You guys are really out there. Wow. What a way to celebrate the 60 years. To be fair, they didn't celebrate 50 very well either.
Yeah.
They did an okay with 40. 50, that was pretty bad too.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
So why get better, right?
Yeah, they've been doing that Fantastic Four life story comic.
Oh my!
So I know you're not buying new comics.
On that one.
I buy the Fantastic Four still, so don't hate me. But
we hate you.
I've been buying that, but you're right. It's not a great celebration.
Well, Mark, I dropped my FF pull list a long time ago.
Whoa.
It'd be like 5-6 years ago, and this is a title that I've been getting since the 70s, right? And it's just been awful. I know you can speak more to the more recent history, and I pick up one or two here and there if the cover looks good or the story looks interesting. But what they did to Johnny, and then anyway, I don't want to get too much into the weeds there, but I have been very unhappy with it, and that's unfortunate because it is the greatest comic magazine of all time.
Yeah,
it is damn unfortunate. Oh, by the way, thank you for Mexican Iron Man. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see everyone here who's in the chat. I'm afraid the super chats got deactivated on me. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I'm having an issue with that, but thank you for asking, though, Mexican Iron Man. I'm just glad you're here, buddy. It's all that counts. We're here to celebrate the FF, brother. And
hail Mexican Iron Man.
Hail Mexican Iron Man.
Hail Mexican Iron Man.
Loads off, Pappy.
Yeah. Can I call him Pappy? No, it just doesn't sound right. Only you should call him that.
Mexipappy?
Cheers, Mexican Iron Man.
It is great to see
Cheers.
Mexican Iron Man in the chat.
We
And
love
Chris
it.
Persia and Eric K and Arwen Avalon and Esh is here too, but all the great people in the chat, man. It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable how much everybody loves the FF and loves you, Clobby. That's why they're all turning out in droves.
Thanks. But Pat, I just want to tell you something, dude. Don't get stunk up on the negative thing. We're about to celebrate the FF. It just came on there. I think it'll be an hour before we get to the negative. Well, look, we didn't go negative. We just were honest, man. It's called honesty. And I mean, if you're that sensitive, but I don't know what to tell you. I mean, man.
That's why I stopped mid-rant.
Oh, no. I mean, if you got something to say it. Don't let someone just kind of, because they're a positive Nazi or something. Don't worry about that.
Just go to the negative zone.
Yeah, we're in the negative zone. Anyway, look, folks, I'm so glad we're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about Fantastic Four number one, because that's what started it all. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the book. I've mentioned this a few times. I want to show a little bit of pictures on it. Maximum FF number one. We talked about this for a while. You're familiar with the name Walter Mosley?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The author? The guy actually who was hired to work on STD and got fired for we know why.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he actually took his Fantastic Four number one from his own collection and had this book made. This takes Fantastic Four number one. Let's find it here. See, look. And every single page is a blow up of each panel. Every page is one panel from the comic.
Wow.
So like a special edition type thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the dust jacket, which is this cover here, is a gigantic poster of Fantastic Four number one, but on the inside it's got all every page from the comic on it. And it's
to unfold it.
Yeah, you can fold it like there. See, there you go.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's lovely, though.
Yeah, it's really nice. And like I said, it shows every single panel broken down. So, I mean, I don't know. It's funny. I don't know if any other comic ever did this like this. I mean, they should. I could think of a lot of comics I wish they would kind of do that with.
Have you?
Say again.
Have you got a copy of this? Have you, Mike?
Oh yeah. I got this for a present a number of years ago.
That's so cool.
So, anyway, I recommend that to anyone who wants to read Fantastic Four number one. But one of the things about cut that up, Fantastic Four number one, somebody's got some background there. Somebody's got some background there. The Fantastic Four number one, that cover. If you talk about the most iconic covers in all of comics history, okay, just talk about the cover now because it's where it all starts. This is what gets you to buy the comic as a kid off the spinner rack. Okay, this cover has got to be the most parodied cover in all of comics history. I mean, if you could think of one more. And I know Action Comics number one, Detective 27, Amazing Fantasy 15. But let's see here. Look how many times this has been copied. Whoa. Wow. Anyone hearing that?
Is that an air conditioner in the background?
I don't know. Is it yours?
I'll mute myself. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, man, because I'm hearing you when you talk and I'm hearing it.
It's not mine.
No, because if I can hear you talk and not hear it, then it can't be yours, right?
That's not me.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Dr. Doom.
I don't have a AC.
You don't? Now that's weird. Why don't you have AC? You don't like it? No, I'm kidding.
You don't have alternating current?
Are you anti-AC, Purple? Let's see. Well, no good. Well, it's sort of off now. No, let's see. Let's see. Oh, there's a link on Amazon for Maximum FF. There you go. Yeah, great comic.
You want me
Great
to put it
man.
on?
Well, you can if anyone's interested in it. Like I say, it's pretty cool. I think the weird thing about it is it's cheap. Usually, every time I come across something, I go, "That's really cool." Well, no, wait a minute. What am I saying? If I already have it, it's always cheap. If I see someone tells me about it and go, "I'd like to get that." Oh crap! Look how much it is. Look how many times this cover's been used. It's amazing. But if you've never read Fantastic Four #1, then there's obviously a crudity to it, a crudity to the art, a crudity to their first appearance. And for those who don't know, the Fantastic Four did not have costumes for 2 issues. They didn't get them until issue 3. Now I'm hearing some real loud background. Anyone hearing that? Now it's off. Was I the only one hearing that?
That's weird. I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't? Oh, well, I can't either.
Well, I got my headphones turned down too, so.
Oh, okay. I was hearing it. Now it's gone. Sorry,
it sounded like white noise or something, but it's gone now.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry about that, everyone. But this, FF #1 when it first came out, everyone, as you can see that from that and from that video, this was, well, if you're familiar with Challengers of the Unknown, this was Kirby kind of mining his own comic, but giving the Challengers superpowers comic he did back in the 50s for National Comics, was of course DC. They're basically the Challengers with superpowers. They weren't the most, if you think about it, the FF, their powers certainly were not that original. Mr. Fantastic had Plastic Man's powers, but what was about Reed that made him so great was his intelligence. Turning invisible, and that's been done too, right? Not a lot. The original Human Torch was an android or a synthesoid. So you just kind of copy his powers. It was really, yeah, I know, Mark, we're prejudiced towards Ben, aren't we? But it was the character of Ben J. Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, who was not so ever-loving and blue-eyed back then.
Yep.
That really made this comic unique. And as both Stan and Jack have said, at that point, a little bit before, Marvel Comics was not Marvel Comics. They were mostly Atlas, and they were going out of business. They were about to shut the doors down. They were doing mostly science fiction, monster comics, Western comics, romance comics, different things like that, and then just really not doing all that well. And there's that famous, I don't know if it's apocryphal at this point, but there was the golf game. Jack Leibowitz, who was, I believe, he was publisher of DC at the time, but there were national periodical publications. And Martin Goodman, who ran Atlas, they had Marvel in there. They still own the name Marvel because they did some comics called Marvel here and there. They were playing. He came back from a golf game with Jack Leibowitz, did Goodman, and he said to Stan Lee, who was his editor at the time, he said, he tells me this Justice League thing. The kids really like seeing the superheroes. Why don't we have a superhero team or something like that? And Marvel they weren't really doing superhero stuff, but they said, why don't we? And Eric, I don't know what the tip. I'm having problems getting that thing back on there, man. I'll get it back, man. It's a mess. Sorry, but sorry, where was it? So
we were talking about how the Justice League kind of inspired the Marvel crew to create the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so they, Stan and Martin go to Jack and they said, we need something that the kids will be interested in. We need superheroes and stuff like that. And this is what always has puzzled me about him taking the Challengers and giving them powers. It was kind of a strange idea, and they both decided, superheroes usually just say, they put on their costumes, let's go beat up the bad guys. They wanted to make people with problems who happen to have superpowers that weren't perfect, that were very flawed. That's kind of canned and cliched by now, but it is the truth. It was their approach to doing Marvel comics to make them flawed. And you make a character like the Thing. Ben Grimm is one of the first characters who he's a tragic. Usually when a character in such fiction becomes a quote unquote monster.
And that's really what Marvel did better than DC, making those flawed characters. You've got the X-Men, you've got Fantastic Four, the Avengers. That's really where they set the pace for everybody in comics. Much better than DC.
Yeah, much better than DC. And well, again, when you have a character, a person turning into a monster, they usually act like a monster. And if you read those early issues of the FF, Ben was walking that abyss. He walked the tightrope there. You really thought he was nasty. He was angry. He wanted to kill Reed for what Reed did to him. And of course, the thing is, he kind of realized it wasn't just Reed's fault. I mean, he did agree to do it out of ego in terms of stealing the spaceship. But he became one of the most beloved and respected characters in the Marvel Universe. But it took time early on. This was they didn't know what the hell they were doing at first, because they didn't even get anything close to a costume, and it was more of a uniform until issue number 3. So,
yeah, the first couple issues were kind of chaotic. It's fun to go back and read, though, so I recommend everybody read the first 10 issues of the FF, especially because it's so much fun and chaos and just crazy stuff.
It really is.
So, yeah, but no, you're right. Number 3, that's a must own.
Number 3 is when they first, because they were getting letters from the kids and the readers. It's great these guys have superpowers, but where are their costumes? Because that's what costumes went hand in hand with superpowers, or vice versa, I guess. And this is taken from the cover of number 3. And you talk about just the excitement level when not only were they flying around in the Fantastic Four bathtub, they had sort of costumes now.
The flying bathtub, yeah.
And it was already great. I mean, first 2 issues are excellent. I mean, second issue introduced the Skrulls. Issue 3 has some weird character called Miracle Man, believe it or not. 4 it brings back the Submariner. Just all over the place. But what I want to talk about now, and I'm going to go around the panel a little bit, is I want to get everyone, because, this is about Fantastic Four number 1, but not every one of us were there to buy Fantastic Four number 1. So this Fantastic Four number 1 is not everyone's Fantastic Four number 1, if you see what I'm saying. I'm going to get from everyone, how they discovered, or how they, their first impressions of the Fantastic Four when they first fell in love with them, if you're a fan, or you first saw them. Spoiler alert, this was mine. Saturday morning cartoon at the age of about 3 years old. That's where I first saw them. Now, you're not all as old as me, so I understand that. So I'm going to go around the horn really and get everyone's, basically first impressions or their first experiences with the FF. Purple, when did you first discover it? Because I know you're a big Doctor Doom fan. We've talked about the character a long time. The greatest villain ever.
Indeed. Yes. Well, I was trying to think back where I first actually came across the Fantastic Four, and I think similar to Ash, it was actually the cartoon that had the biggest impacts on me, because that's where I remember the characters from. It wasn't until later that I actually started reading the books. Never been lucky enough to actually have seen a Fantastic Four number 1 in person, but I do have it obviously in collected editions. But there's just something about the Fantastic Four that really appeals to people. I think it's the idea of having a family, not just a group of superheroes. These are people that are in a relationship with each other, as well as working together. I think that's where the appeal comes from.
Absolutely. The family aspect is one of the most, I think, endearing things about the F for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thoth, since I know you pressed for time, I'll get yours. I'll get everybody, because I want to know about your first experience with when you first fell in love with the Fantastic Four.
Well, that's an easy one. It's Fantastic Four issue number 164. I remember being a very, very young man in November. So it was my birthday, around my birthday. Not that I'm telling everybody when that is, but I'm a Scorpio and a redhead too. So I'm a Scorpio, redhead, all kinds of interesting topics today, or subject matter today. But it's because it's got that great cover with the Crusader.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, and it's got the FF all coming at him, and it's just And in the store, I was going around, and it was like, okay, Tim, pick one comic that you like. And I'm like, oh, this one, oh, this looks really cool. And so that's the one I got. And after reading that, I had to have more. I was rapacious appetite. I had to just find everything I could. So I got 163 because it was still in the rack, and 165 the next month. And then that started my love of the FF. And the Fantastic Four was one of those comics that was a regular pull for me, even as a kid. Right up there with the Legion of Superheroes, actually. Long live the Legion.
Long live the Legion, buddy. Absolutely. Yeah, see, this is when Kirby had gone back to Marvel in the 70s for a while. And he was not only doing his own series, he was doing tons of covers. And I love this cover. I remember buying it on the rack and just couldn't. I mean, I bought this dude. We both bought it at the same time. And it was this is when I think Roy Thomas was writing it, or was it Wine or whatever? It was George Perez, Joe Sinnott. Great story about the Crusader based on the old Marvel Boy character. So this is, dude, great way to start, man. I love it.
Yeah, that was a great cover, and a great story, and a really cool character. It's too bad that he's kind of fallen off the cliff here in recent history, but yeah.
Well, remember when Ben met a guy who looked just like that in Marvel 2-in-1, and he thought he was the same guy, but it turned out he was a different, just looked like him, and it was that version's Quasar. Remember? So yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because he had the Nega Band /
same outfit.
Yeah, the same kind of outfit. It's and it's a really cool power set too. And the hair, he had the headband, and I thought he was like John McEnroe with the hair sometimes with the headband and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool. And he the 165 one, if I remember, was the one with the Thing. I think, wasn't he fighting the Thing?
Yes, he did. Great Perez to sit out art on that one.
Yeah, but that was I want to say Marv Wolfman, I think, was the editor around that time.
Yeah, Wolfman might have been writing that one at that point, but Thomas was editor. Was Thomas?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thomas is the writer.
Yeah, he's also an editor at that point as well in a lot of cases. Loki, any thoughts on when you first, or discovered the Fantastic Four?
Yep, I'm going to share my screen with you real quick.
Go for
it. My dad had left home and joined the Navy, and he left all of his stuff with his mother. And when he got back from his first deployment, he went back thinking, I'm gonna get all my old comic books, and I'll be able to read something while I'm on the ship. And she had sold them all.
Mm-hmm.
And he started to go through some of his stuff, and he had an old book bag for school, and this was inside of it, and this hung on his wall. It wasn't in the best condition. It wasn't like it was like mint or anything. The edges were all torn up. It barely had any binding left to it, but this was up on his wall. He kept this in a shadow box, and it was the first time I had ever seen the Fantastic Four.
Oh, that's an awesome cover.
Wow.
That is cool.
So that was the first time so they're part of Spider-Man. And that's what I thought for the longest time. Oh, they're part of Spider-Man. They were part of Spider-Man. Now, Fantastic Four's got all its own stuff, but that was the only he had X-Men #1. He had the original Spider-Man, and like that before it wasn't even Marvel. It was in like Strange Tales or some weird shit like that. It was Spider-Man was in a really weird book.
Well, he was an Amazing Fantasy 15.
It was Amazing Fantasy, yes. He had all of that before he left, and when he got back, she had sold all of his stuff in a garage sale.
Oh,
and this was the only one he had left.
Oh,
wow, dude.
That's gotta hurt. That
hurts. Hurts all of us who love comics.
But obviously, it's not like he didn't. They had no concept that any of this was going to be worth money one day. So they read them. They read through them, and they took them in bags, and they didn't put them in protective cases. They didn't do any of that back then. So
yeah, why would you, right? I mean,
yeah, you just didn't think about it. So
nor did they make it. It was really made for comics. Yeah. Wow, dude. Well, that's a great introduction to him.
Yeah.
No question about it.
I loved Spider-Man back in the day when I was a little kid. It was all Spider-Man and Superman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Raymond, what is your first exposure to the FF. This is your FF number one in a sense.
My FF number one has to be, oh boy.
It's not easy to remember. I understand, man.
No, it isn't. I'd say it was the Galactus. The first ones I actually ever got were the Galactus trilogy.
Oh wow!
And the scope of that one, the epicness just made me that actually got my start in comics. Period.
Wow, doesn't get much more classic than that.
No. I read a few of the Batman in Space comics and those, and of course the Legion. Long live the Legion! But the FF was absolutely that was the transcendent one for me. And I feel Stone Loki because when I left for the military, my dad didn't put him into my dad didn't put my comics collection into a garage sale. He just trashed them. Every single one of them.
See, that should be a capital crime.
That should be.
Yeah.
I better not tell you what my parents did to mine. You couldn't believe me; it would be too horrific.
But got restarted again, and that was about the time when Byrne did his run. So, but yeah, Galactus trilogy was mine, and of course, and of course the '67 comics too, or cartoon.
Oh yeah. Well, our good buddy, the late great Mark C. and I, about a year or so ago, did a in-depth live stream review of the comic Galactus, which is one of the classics. So live stream on that. So, well, cool, man.
Not to sidetrack things just for a sec, but is anybody going to get that Galactus figure that's being done by
HasLab? Oh.
Yeah, HasLab.
Please don't tell my wife.
I'm telling, dude.
Because I'm on the fence about it. I know this is kind of off topic, but while I'm still here, I just because I've heard a lot of talks. Robert Meyer Burnett's talked about it. As is from Heels versus Babyface has talked about it. I think Purple, you've talked about it. I know there's some people who've talked about that figure, right? And I kind of like hum and ha. But then what happened with Unicron and everything going on with that company and. Because there's a couple of little side figures you can get if you get to a certain point in the whole. It's kind of like a Kickstarter almost, but it's their own company, right? Where there might be a Silver Surfer, there might be is it Frankie Rye? Is it a Nova? Is the first one? I think I can't remember, but anyway,
Hasbro's making that, or that's
the HasLabs, yeah, Hasbro.
Oh, HasLabs, yeah.
Yeah, because they did the Unicron, and that was a travesty what they did with that, right? And then there was, so I'm kind of humming and hawing about it, but I love that figure because I love Galactus, right? That's a classic, one of those greatest non-villains of all time because he's not really a villain, but he is a villain. So he has to eat, he has to survive, and he has to absorb planets and whatever's on that ecosystem too to be able to survive. So I get it. He's the ultimate apex predator, but it's such a cool design, that costume design, right? And that shows the genius of the people at Marvel Comics that were designing these characters, right? Especially in the issue since we're talking about Galactus.
Kirby was definitely that. What is this, Purple? My goodness.
That's just another figure that's just been released, or statue rather.
How?
I love the Galactus I've got to meet, and it's enormous. The figure is huge.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a new one as well that's coming from Sideshow.
Do you want to get the collector's edition or the exclusive edition there with the background? I'm not sure if I like that background.
I quite like it. I've got to admit, I think it's pretty cool. But yeah,
Doom looks great.
Very cool.
He does.
Plus, there's also the Mezco Toys Fantastic Four.
Oh, they're
set.
incredible too.
The thing looks so incredible there too. So.
Yeah.
These toy companies are better at celebrating the anniversaries than the friggin' comic than Marvel is.
That's because they want to make money.
Well, yeah, imagine that. Huh?
Toy companies want to make money. They
What?
know.
No.
They know what you want.
What? No. What a concept, Marvel, right? Mark D with a C. What about you? Your first exposure to Marvel's first family.
Well, I got introduced to comics. My grandfather was worked as a toll dispatcher for a taxi cab company in Mount Vernon, and there was a newsstand next door. And every weekend he'd bring me back comics. And at first it was all Richie Rich and Scooby Doo and those Casper the Ghost. And then he brought me back an adventure comic with Superboy. And I'm like, Grandpa, I want more of those. The guys with the costumes. I think it was probably like 5, 6, or 7 at the time. So then he started bringing me, Marvel and DC comics. So I think I'll turn my camera, and I think this is one of the first comics he brought. He got me
on my way.
Well, it's okay. People can see it, but it was in the 70s. So I think.
Yes,
and
it was.
And the other one I might have gotten too was when they did the reprints of Fantastic.
Oh wow,
Four.
the Brute.
Yeah. So I think that was the first one, if memory serves. And
look at that hat! Damn it, dude! Man, I don't want the hat now. I'm stealing your damn hat.
So I'm all dressed up. I got my uniform on, so I got the
points off for those weird looking faces on the FF on your shirt, but you're okay.
Yeah, I got to get another FF shirt, I guess. But yeah. But and I just love the character, the Thing, and I love science fiction. Yeah, I didn't know it, as a kid. I didn't know what science fiction was, but the whole exploring the science part of it, going to different dimensions, the negative zone, and so there's a little bit of Star Trek thrown in there before I realized how much I loved Star Trek. So that just, and then of course the Thing, being that character just drew me right in. Just Ben Grimm, that lovable monster, and then getting picked on at school a little bit for liking, later on, liking certain things, and you just really drawn to that character and really related to that character the way it was written. So it wasn't written, like a perfect person, and they had, he was depressed about being the Thing, and but he would rally through and get through it. So those were fantastic, well written, well drawn characters. I didn't like Kirby. Don't shoot me. I didn't like Kirby as much when I first saw it, because of course I probably had start with the later issues, and then you're like, what's this artist is kind of strange, but then you just see it and it just grows on you. So this is one of my favorite issues I was able to pick up. And Raymond, that's a pretty nice way to start with the Galactus trilogy. But I was able to grab this guy. Should get a better board for it. But yeah, I'm just in 3 issues instead of all these crazy crossovers they do today. In 3 or 4, they tell this epic story that's timeless, that everyone loves, and there's no crossovers, and it's just if you're going to read a story, I'd say you can find this pretty easily digitally. So I'd recommend anyone who's
trying to
get into the FF to get into that.
First Silver Surfer right there.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite series too, is the Silver Surfer. So my grandfather had brought me.
Oh wow, you got a treasury.
Yeah, I got that here.
You won't get mad at me for saying it's a reprint like our other buddy does, huh?
Is that a reprint? Oh crap!
Yes. Most a great percentage of your Marvel treasuries, in fact, almost all of them are reprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's against the comic book code to do reprints or novellas. You can't do it.
Well, we all love my buddy 24, but sometimes you don't like me saying something's a reprint. It's a habit, though, man. I'm not doing it to mess with him much.
But
in this one, if you notice, it reprints it. Later, they recolored that. They actually have Galactus. Apparently, it was summertime in New York because Galactus is in his short sleeves and his short shorts.
Yep.
Initially.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was a color there.
But then Marvel Masterworks colored it and changed his colors. Initially, it was like more of a green type of a color than purple, or like a green and a red type. But yeah, I love, dude. I'm a Treasury tradition freak,
great.
Man. You know that.
And as a kid, these are great to great to read too, because you could read the story, and then it was this huge art. So it was of course, back when you're a kid, your eyes are perfect too. So
that's closer to size that comic book art is actually drawn on. It looks like almost the size of a piece of original art.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And then I don't want to show. I have boxes and boxes of comics, but I have.
That's cool stuff, man.
Like here, I grabbed. Of course, this is Kirby month too. So
there you go.
A box with some of my favorite.
He didn't do that one, but still, it's still
Silver
Surfer. But yeah.
All hail the legend, Jack Kirby.
Yeah, and then so
Well,
I've
well-
been trying to get the run of the Surfer. I'm missing one and maybe a couple other ones, but here let's see where I got. So like, of course, this is one of the greatest.
Oh my
issues
goodness!
ever.
After I sold my FF collection, that's the only one I didn't sell because I got Jack to sign the inside front page,
Oh,
and I couldn't part with it. That's one of the greatest comics of the Silver Age. This monster. Yeah, and you know what's weird? That's not a Thing story. That's a Reed story in a sense. But,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it is.
That's with Janus, wasn't it?
Excuse me,
Was that with Janus? Where
Janus. Now this was the guy who stole Ben's powers. That guy on the cover there. That's not actually Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a. And now this.
Oh
is
man, dude, this is one of the greatest comics ever.
This is the greatest comic of all time. This, and if you want to read a Thing issue that encapsulates his personality and how he fights, it's kind of like a Rocky story.
Shout out to Alpha Flight there with Sasquatch in the background.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
But
Canada.
Who would want any of that blonde muscle on the cover of their comic? Gotta get rid of that blonde muscle head off the comic, and then it'll be good.
Look how toxic that is.
Look at that naked guy in the background there too, with the pointed ears.
Yeah.
Namor. Yep. So the story is the champion is looking to fight. He's one of the elders of the universe, and he's fighting for the survival of the Earth. And won't give anything else away, but it's an ultimate boxing match, and just Ben's personality and strength wins the day. And then here's
Mexican Iron Man's got the right idea. Boo Thor. #Team Loki.
Why did I know he was going to chime in there?
Of course.
And this is one of my earlier issues that I picked up, and this is signed by
Kirby
George Perez.
Yeah, he did the interior, but Kirby did the cover. But Perez did the interior, though.
Yeah, Perez. Yeah, so I got to meet George Perez, and then this issue freaked me out.
Wow.
Because
because
then Ben takes his exoskeleton off. He's and I didn't know what had happened.
Oh
And
yeah, that's right. He was wearing the exoskeleton at that point. He was
like, "What's going on?
He turned human.
What happened to the thing? He ripped the zipper, comes apart."
Yes, he was not the thing he was in that one. Kirby covers, another Kirby cover. God, I love that era with those Kirby
Perez,
covers.
yes.
Perez did the inside, but Kirby did the covers.
Yep, exactly. So I was able. Yeah, these are the batch that I kept them together that I got signed by Perez because he's
Perez did that cover. That
he worked on. Yep.
I love that. I love that story. By the way, that's one of the best Frightful Four stories ever.
Agreed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a team that we haven't seen in recent history. When was the last time the Frightful Four showed up? Like
they haven't been around in a while.
20 years ago?
Yeah. I hadn't seen them in forever, and they never could get that fourth member. Exactly right.
I think Pacebot Pete should be the leader of that team because that's the greatest supervillain of all time.
Well, if they call
is he Canadian?
he just say call me Trapster. Stop calling me that.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite all-time covers. I was talking to Perez about this, and he said, "Yeah, I just told him I just love the way this is framed, the angles." And he's like, "Yeah, that was a fun cover to draw." And so that was a great.
That was like Ben Ween or something broke the team up again. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a family, right? They're
Perez
a family,
cover.
and that's what happens. They have a disagreement every couple of months, and then they break up.
Yep. Boy, they break up a lot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love these getting some Perez covers. Man, you got to sign a bunch of them, huh?
Yeah, well, I kept going online a few times, so it was a small comic book shop. So
I love Perez run.
It was great. Yeah, and that was the one where my son asked him to draw a picture of Cyborg when he wasn't supposed to draw anything, and he said, "Oh, okay, I'll draw a little 5-year-old kid ass." So then for the rest of the day, he was drawing covers. So it was a lot of.
Well, hold that thought. I want to get to everyone else's first.
Yep.
Hold on to those picks, if you would.
I will. Yeah.
Because let's see who's next. Hold on. Retro, I know you're not much of an FF fan, but what was your first ever exposure to them? If you're still there. Still there, buddy? Well,
Thanks,
Hector might be
Retro.
busy. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background. But Ash, what about you, bro?
Well, I did touch on it earlier. Oh, I think that's coming from Retro. Is he back?
I don't
Retro,
know.
you back?
Hope he's all right. You okay, man?
Sam probably dragged him away. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, well, go ahead,
Probably.
Ash. Because I know Ash. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you said you started with. Well, you go ahead and tell us how you started with it.
Yeah, so even that will probably change after this show, but still to this day I haven't read a Fantastic Four comic. But
Oh, the
my
shame.
I knew something like that was coming.
That goes to show you.
I'll
But
go
that
and
goes
say
to
the
show
notes
you how
corner.
bad the modern FF has
Yeah.
become, because nobody's reading it.
Well, not even the modern FF. I still haven't read any of the classic comics yet. And this is coming from someone who bought all
Chris.
of West Coast Avengers. So, oh, great. I'm being
Oh,
cancelled
I
now.
agree with you, Chris.
So how many times did that make now, Ash? How many times have you been canceled?
I
you
have
get
no
canceled every
idea.
week, dude. Go for it, man.
Yeah, so my first exposure was the films where Chris Evans was the Human Torch, and I saw those when I was a lot younger, like a little kid, and they were just awesome to watch. You've got like superheroes with different powers, and they're on the space station, and that's how they got their powers. And then in the second film, we had more of Doctor Doom, and we had him in the first one as well. But and he was definitely a threat. But in the second one, he felt more of a threat because when Silver Surfer came into the picture, Doom stole Surfer's board, and then everything went crazy. And those films was my first introduction to Surfer and Galactus. So for the longest time, I thought Galactus was a big space cloud. So,
Oh,
Oh, good lord.
and I had no idea of anything else.
Oh, the
And-
humanity.
I know, right? dude?
Yeah.
you know, Ash, you ought to
Not
see
his
the
fault.
70s. You'll see the 70s comic and think Herbie's a charter
Yeah.
member.
Yeah, and then later on, I saw the newest Final Fantasy, Fantastic Four film, the one with I can't remember who it was.
Fantastic Four stick?
I mean, Four stick. That's not a
Yeah,
Fantastic Four movie.
and
That's not Fantastic Four.
and I've forgotten most of it because to me the
Yeah.
first lot of films are more memorable, even with some inaccuracies. And it was actually this year where I got into the YouTube scene and made a bunch of friends, and Clubby was like, "Oh, Ash, you really need to watch the '90s show. God, you need to watch it. It's really good. Wait till you see the second season." I was like, okay. And then I eventually watched it. And oh my god, I loved it. It was so cool seeing the FF together and seeing more stories about the FF, learning more of the deep lore surrounding the group, and when Galactus came in and all that stuff. And definitely the second season is a lot better. The way it's drawn and the whole the feel of the show is much better. And then after that, I did watch the Silver Surfer one, a Silver Surfer show. So I learned more about the Surfer and then learned more about Nova and Galactus and that sort of thing. And it was really cool to watch that. So I went from modern to older material, and then I'll probably be going older still in terms of reading the comics. So after this is the perfect time to learn more about the origin of the characters, and even with the original Human Torch being an android, I was like, as soon as I found that out, I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. How does this work? What's going on? What do? But
Yes.
yeah, and it was just brilliant seeing how the characters were originally done by the creators compared to what modern interpretations of the characters are in film and TV shows and stuff. So that's really cool as well. And they're now the characters are now in different video games and more material, and we'll eventually be getting the Fantastic Four film coming forward from Marvel, and I know there's not a lot of high hopes for it, but
It's not
for
gonna be
me
Fantastic
personally,
Four.
I am excited because I've had such a limited experience with the Fantastic Four. Whereas other people have grown up with the Fantastic Four through comics for decades. And plus, the way I analyze things, I prefer like moving pictures, so like movies, TV shows, video games, visual imagery as opposed to written material. So that's why I'm excited for that film. But then again, you can't take away from the comics. Like that's the lore, that's the origin, the characters, the original creator's vision. It's all there. And also, there's nothing better than holding a physical comic in your hand and reading it and looking at the art of the different artists and the stories and everything. So it's just a wonderful thing. And also the whole family aspect, it's good to see how the characters interact together. It's just it's kind of like magic because as we've already stated, loads of other things sprouted out from the FF, loads of other concepts, characters, and things like that. Similar to West Coast Avengers, loads of stories sprouted from that comic line. So it's just brilliant, and I'm excited to go back and read some of the original comics, and that'll be amazing. And I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Well,
Can I just say one thing? Ash, man, what you just said is something that I think Hollywood today and the comic industry should take note of. You said the original creator's vision is brilliant. And that just tells you right there the problem we have today with most of our properties that we love so much. That they decide that today, well, you know what, the original creator's vision, no, that was wrong, we're going to change it, and that's what we're having a problem with. So Ash, that was brilliant, man. That was brilliant.
With a lot of them, it's not that it's wrong, is that to them they see it as flawed. It does not live up to today's standards. That's the problem.
Yeah, good point, Loki. Absolutely. The Retro, did you have anything to say about the FF? Because I know, again, you said you weren't much a fan of the comic, but you never read the comics, right? But
again, to be honest, I am a massive comic, cartoon fan. So a lot of my stuff, I used to watch all the cartoons as a kid, and of course, like I used to watch the Spider-Man cartoon, I used to watch the X-Men cartoon, and of course, I watched the Fantastic Four cartoon, 1994, I think it probably was. So I thoroughly enjoyed these wonderful characters, fantastic stories, just brilliant. I mean, I know, again, my experience is nowhere near to what you got at Comic Aficionados, no. But just wonderful, brilliant characters, great. And I enjoyed the cartoon series, and like I say, that's where like a lot of my experiences come from, is the cartoons, and I love watching the Hulk as well, and of course the Batman animated series. That's where a lot of my love comes from the hero genre, is the cartoons, and a lot of the cartoons I think were well up to scratch.
yeah, would have been a lot of them. Like I said, that was my gateway. But I'll tell my first one first. We got one more. Jed, your FF origin. That's because, see, look, as I said, I wanted to cover everyone. This is the most important thing, since this is the day number one came out, how everyone began. Everything else we talk about will be other feelings about the FF. But to me, that was the important thing. I want to get everyone how they got started. So go ahead, Jed.
Well, funny enough, Superman was the thing that got me into Fantastic Four, because the movie came out in 1978, and it got me to go to a comic book shop for the first time after the movie. The first two comics that I picked up was a Superman comic. I can't remember that because it was just, but I do remember it was Fantastic Four 200, the last Kirby issue. So the big fight where there's Reed on the cover and there's Doom, and it's like the last battle. Yeah, the last Kirby issue. I got that. I actually got that signed by him. So
Ooh.
when I went to go to a comic convention. But yeah, that Superman ironically got me into the Fantastic Four, and I went in there, and my grandfather's like this, and then he's like, "There is a whole store full of everything you just saw on screen, grandson." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, go look around." And the first two things that caught my eye were Superman and Fantastic Four, and then I just went. And then later on, about a couple years later, because he thought I was old enough to, I would handle him, but I was always taught to like keep all my stuff. He went and got my dad's comics, and it was Fantastic Four number 2 through 10, and gave them all to me. And then my dad also had the Galactus art too, where you got to see Galactus for the first time with Silver Surfer and everything. I have those. Those are from my dad. My dad had those when he was little, so I have those too. So,
Well, excellent. Well, there you go. FF 200. Of course, he left way before that, but that was Kirby's. Kirby did do a good cover on that one. I love that cover of FF 200 for sure. Yeah. So there you go. Mine is weird, everyone. I mean, as old as I am, you think it would have been a comic off the rack, but I started with, as I mentioned earlier, the first thing I ever saw the FF on was, of course, as a very young child, the Fantastic Four Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which I'm sure many of you remember. But really, as far as holding a sort of a comic book in my hand, I say sort of, it was the Power Records. This is how I learned how to read too. These Power Records. I don't know if you're familiar with these. Power Records. This, of course, I didn't know it at the time. This is a reprint of Fantastic Four 126, which is a John Buscema redoing of issue 1 itself. As you can see, it's a play on the issue 1 cover. And that came with a little 45 record. Yeah, I know no one knows what a 45 is now. No one young. Anyway.
I still have 45.
Well, I mean, no one beyond at a certain age. I mean, but and it was a little radio play of the comic book was on there. So I used to listen to the words and match them up with the words on the page, that kind of stuff. I loved all those Power Records and everything. And so yeah, this was really. I mean, I loved the cartoon. This is the one, when I fell in love with this, I've been seeing him on Comic Racks a little bit, but this is it. This is what really got me, maybe just fall in love with the characters and fall in love with, of course, the Thing became my favorite character somewhere around that point. And, of course, this was this was, again, Kirby was way off the book by then. This was, John Buscema, Joe Sinnott era at that point in terms of the artwork, but it was still a great era. For the comic and, for the Fantastic Four. So we've all basically kind of talked a little bit about our beginnings with the FF and how we started out with them. So I think what we
Bobby,
should do.
Can I mention real quick?
Yes, you can.
I put into the stream what I would recommend for anybody who wants to read the FF in DVD form is the 44 Years of Fantastic Four. That takes them up to 2004, and it's got them all in there. You
put an ad for? What did you put? Put a link to it?
You put a link in there already.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know they sold those ZD-ROMs, but they're still selling those. I have that one.
Yeah, you can't. They don't sell them no more, but you can still get them on eBay.
Okay. Yeah, they got
the best.
We got the Spider-Man one, the FF one, the Star Trek Comics one, and a few of those. It's kind of silly of them doing that at the time now, and then they whine about pirating and crap now. So
when I realized what a mistake it was, because then
they realized
we can sell these digitally. Yeah, let's not give the people what they want.
Digital.
It's a good way to catch up.
Oh yeah, you can read the scans. Sometimes they're kind of wonky, but you can still you can read. It was like what the first 400 issues or so of FF or more than that.
It takes them to about 2004.
Okay, wow, from 64 to 2004. So, wow. Well, there you go. Pretty good. One of the what was it? I think the best celebrations that they did for an anniversary was the 40th. And so that's what I want to go into, maybe some recommendations. In other words, I want to hear from you, some of you, what are your favorite FF stories that if someone were to ask you, hey, what's a great Fantastic Four story to read? And we'll go around the horn and do it before. Because I know, for example, my friend Purple's a huge Doctor Doom fan. And I don't know if your favorite would be, your story would be your favorite FF story would be involving Doctor Doom or not, Purple. But if you can think of a Doctor Doom story that sticks out for you, or it doesn't have to be. I mean, if you read other FFs.
Sorry. I was thinking.
Sorry. Catch off guard there. Catch off guard there.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Probably the one that I would recommend the most. It is actually a Doctor Doom book, and it's a more recent one actually. It's from 2005. So it was the Books of Doom. It was a 5-part issue that was done by Ed Brubaker. And it was a really good kind of retelling of Doom's origin that kind of really got into his kind of backstory. The art was fantastic. Loved the covers, and it was just a really good short collection. I've got the individual books, and I've got the collected edition as well.
I've never read that one.
Oh, it's great.
So, Purple, we don't get a chance to live stream very often, but I've always wanted to ask you, since you're such a huge Doctor Doom fan, so what do you think about the whole character development with Valeria and with that whole storyline? Are you familiar with the one I'm talking about?
Yes. Do you mean Valeria, the adult woman, or Valeria, the child?
Well, I prefer the child versus the adult version. But either one, I think that it's a very interesting dichotomy between the FF and their heroic ideals and their children versus Doom and his quest for power, but also he's not really a true villain because ultimately he's searching for a way to free his mother. He's searching for a way to keep Latveria safe. He's like a true monarch, right? And in the old school way of being a monarch. But that whole connection that he has with Valeria, I thought was in the modern age of comics with the FF was really cool idea. What do you think?
I really liked it, and as you say, it kind of gives a different side to him. Doom, the whole point in it, he doesn't see himself as the villain. He does things for the greater good in all capitals.
Yes.
So no matter exactly, it's all driven by ego. If he fails, it's because somebody else has done something wrong. But he was surprisingly I suppose you could call him a step parent, I guess, to Valeria, because obviously he helped her be born as well when she first.
That's right.
True.
When Sue was having trouble, but it does definitely bring out a different side of him. But it also brings in that kind of friction between the Fantastic Four and him because they are mortal enemies.
Yep.
But I've got to admit, I never liked Franklin Richards as a character.
Oh, me too. I hate that character. I like Valeria. I hate Franklin.
I hate Valeria.
Franklin's the reason why we had Onslaught. So
I'm the opposite. I can't stand Valeria. The whole concept of her makes me insane. I hate it. Not a big fan of Franklin, but they had to have one kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, just me. The old time. I just cannot stand the whole Valeria thing, which was granted after I was really following the book that much anyway.
Yes, the only version of the Valeria I didn't like, I think it was Fantastic Four, is it 500, where it gets really weird and he ends up using her skin as armor, the adult Valeria.
Yeah, that was just... Yeah.
Well, she's insufferable now, the way Dan Sloth writes her, which is not perfect for character
She's the bestest ever.
Yeah, she's the bestest ever, and she's moody and mean all the time, too. So,
in that comic he writes now, it should be called the Fantastic 44.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Loki, do you have any Fantastic Four stories that stand out for you?
Yeah. Give me just a second. I'm going to
Okay,
share
go for
something
it.
with you. And you'll probably be like, sacrilege.
You suck, man. I hate that comic.
Yeah. You're
Wait.
probably going to be like, what
Sorry,
the
Pat
fuck?
ass.
Mike's gonna say the same thing to me too when I bring up mine. So
There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
but even if I agree with you, I'm going to say it to
And
you.
you know this, because I brought this up one night, and I brought this up. This was the series that I really got into. Yeah, there you go. New Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Ghost
dude,
Rider.
you just used mine, Loki.
How dare you?
Oh,
I was gonna use that.
You stole.
See, this
So-
is how you know Loki and me have good taste. We know both we're gonna say this one.
The Art Adams one, yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah.
love that art though? I find it kind of sketchy.
I liked it at the time. I really
Yeah.
liked it. That was, of course, I'm a teenager. So, but I never really, I didn't follow the Fantastic Four that much. But when I saw three of my favorite people, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Wolverine, and then you got the Hulk in there just for good measure, and you're like, damn, man. And then they fight. It all culminates in this fight, the new Fantastic Four versus the original Fantastic Four. And it was really cool. I liked collecting these. I liked, going to the comic book shops and being like, when's the next one come out? I want the next one. And it's just that really, really was cool for me. I also like another one that Klobby absolutely hates is Marvel's Civil War. I like how they split. I like how the Fantastic Four split.
I don't hate this
during
one, by the way.
War.
For the record, I don't hate this one.
Okay, I didn't remember whether you didn't like it or not. This one, I know you didn't like the Civil War, but I liked how everybody split up. You had the X-Men. One team went one way, one team went the other way. Fantastic Four did the same thing. I think you had Clobberin and Johnny on one team, and Sue Storm and Reed on the other. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I liked reading these, and some of my favorite characters were in this, and it was like the Fantastic Four has disappeared. We need a new Fantastic Four team. And I like that with X-Men though too. I like that when they did the same thing with the X-Men, when the whole team disappeared except for Cyclops, I think. And they had to bring in Wolverine and Storm, and it was different. I liked it. So yeah, that's my big thing.
I did too.
I was a teenager when this came out too. Just turning into a teenager, I think. Or something. So yeah, but this is one of my favorite stories, like Loki, because I was just like, you got 4 of my favorite characters right there, plus the Fantastic Four. Come on,
Well, how could you go wrong? You've got Logan, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I was just and I love the covers too.
And that issue skyrocketed in price for a while. I don't think it's worth as much anymore. But when it first came out, those single issue buyers were raiding the store, and a couple of times what happened in my old shop that I didn't really like, if the comic sold really well, he would say, "Oh, I didn't have one for your pull list." Like the I'd be like USOB, like I never got the McFarlane Hulk with Wolverine on the cover, with the claws reflect. He's like, "Oh, we didn't get enough of those." Like USOB, you're selling them, So
no, I bought it. Look, I respect the Art Adams. This is Art Adams was a really this is a good art, man. Mm-hmm. Well, I got to put him. I was nuts. That's his favorite artist of all there.
It was different kind of art, right? Because you get the traditionalists where they all kind of followed in the greats' footsteps, and then you had someone come out and do something different, and that's kind of why I like it. It's at the time I really appreciated it more than say now when I look back on it, because of everything that's come recently is just terrible art 90% of the time. So that stuff now you look back on it and you go, that was actually pretty good compared to what's going on today.
Mm-hmm. Well, Art Adams was really big at the time. I mean, now you don't see much from him because he's not prolific. There's not a whole lot of stuff he did. Of course, he's more known for X-Men.
But he's got his own style. He's original, and you can recognize.
And he's obsessed with Godzilla, by the way.
He's Godzilla guy, yeah.
Oh God, yeah, he does a lot of Godzilla comics.
Aren't we all obsessed with Godzilla?
Well, everyone should be,
because he's the king of the monsters.
All right.
I think King Kong is better though. So
we can't be friends.
Mm.
I'm Team Mecha Godzilla.
Whoa.
He's the king. Okay?
Kong versus Godzilla? No, Godzilla is the king of monsters.
I think for that latest movie they had, I think Kong was on steroids or something because he grew about 300 stories taller than he was.
He
Yeah.
yells out. He yells out.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Let's see who else. Let's see who is next on a favorite comments. I can't see everybody. Let's see. Who wants to go next in terms of a Raymond, a favorite FF story that you, if somebody comes in and says, never read FF, which one, just out of the blue, recommend me one?
Oh God, so many. I think the one that is standing out to me right now is the Trial of Reed Richards.
Not the Trial of Galactus, the Trial of Reed Richards.
The Trial of Reed Richards,
okay,
where
fair enough.
He saved
That was
Galactus'
great.
life, and he ends up on trial for that, and that really lets everybody know what Galactus is all about.
That was good.
Is that like is that like 260s or something? No,
Somewhere up in there.
It's
240s maybe.
It's in
I can't
the
remember.
burn run. It's in the burn run.
Yeah, it's in the burn line, but I mean, he did it for a long time.
Yeah, that was a good run actually. That was some really interesting.
I was
stories.
actually kind of aggravated by then because I hated his costume change and then putting She-Hulk in there later and stuff. But this is a good run.
262. Yeah, I thought it was 260s because that was the whole thing with the Skrulls, right? Where it doesn't Galactus like eat the Skrull throne world, and then great story, man. Good pick.
Frankie
That
Ray,
is a good story.
Frankie Ray caused the Skrulls to get eaten.
Yep.
Frankie Ray.
Did they taste like chicken?
Yes.
Huh,
I think they'd more taste like lizard, wouldn't they?
Lizard chicken.
Space lizards that can control time, you know. Don't get Loki started on that one.
Nope.
Yeah, this is a classic. That's a good. That's a good recommendation, man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Reed, because for those who don't know, again, Reed saved Galactus, and the galaxy didn't like that too much. They were not happy with Reed, were they? So,
No. It's an interesting philosophical question. That was what the story was so great at. It was one of those stories where you look at ethics and morals, and is everybody worth living? Does everybody have a worth, an intrinsic value? Like every life is important, no matter what color, what race, what creed. Even if the creature, the being, eats millions and billions of people over the course of its life and destroys those lives, is that person still of value to the universe? That's what that story was about. And so that is an amazing cut, because it's a story that, so it shows you what kind of a man Reed Richards is, that he would save Galactus, the probably what most races in the universe think is the greatest evil in the entire universe. He saves them because his life has value. And that's a deep philosophical question.
Indeed, and Venom Outsider is absolutely right. The story that this is a precursor to this that you can't have is, of course, the Galactus, that last Galactus story before this, where Reed saves him, 242 through 244. Both those were great.
Oh yeah.
Thought that I do you already? Did you already do a recommendation, or do you have one, or did you not?
Oh, you mean of the greatest Fantastic Four
Just
stories
a
of all
Fantastic
time?
Four that you'd recommend to somebody. I want to get that from everybody because we've already done our origins.
Yeah, there's some. Oh, well, it's really difficult
on the spot.
For me, it's anything dealing with the Silver Surfer. Obviously, I like the Galactus trilogy. 48 to 50 of the Fantastic Four is just incredible. I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. So there's several Silver Surfer stories from the FF, and it goes into one of my favorite runs for the Silver Surfer of all time, which was Volume 3 of the Silver Surfer, where he starts to meet all the elders of the universe. So he's going through, and then at the end where they can't die because death doesn't want them to go into her realms because she punishes them, so they can't die. So you have like the Contemplator, and you've got the Astronomer and Champion, and Ego is in it, and that's great. So I love that story, even though it's not an FF story; it's the Silver Surfer stuff. So I love that. But I know somebody already mentioned 57 to 60, right? That was the Doctor Doom. Was that you, Purple? That was a great story too. The Peril and the Power, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But I think, in a lot of the modern stuff, I'm trying to remember the issues here that it was where you got to meet some of the great villains. So I think the great run of probably FF in the early 20s, and so you have like 20, 21, 22, 23.
Oh yeah.
There's some great stories that you meet a lot of characters that just are just incredible. I love the early stuff, and like you have the Molecule Man in issue 20, I think. You've got you get to meet you get to see the Yancey Street Gang and how the Thing responds to them, right? And it's just so comedic and fun. It's this rivalry that goes through to modern comics, and it's just funny. That's the story. I think the early 20s, so 20 to say 25, was a great run.
Yes, it was great. I loved also. Well, a few of them I love. I'll mention this in a minute, but let's see here. Who else is not done?
Sergeant Fury shows up, and you have the Hate Monger, and you have it's just you have Alicia Masters. Yeah, and there's some really cool stories that you could never do today.
Oh no, again, of course, when you get into the 40s, you get the Inhuman saga, which is fantastic.
Oh, that's fantastic too.
I mean, right, which led right into the. I mean, they didn't even break a break. The Inhuman saga, which was a long one, goes right into the coming of Galactus. Not even a break. In fact, not even issue break. Because toward the end of issue 48, which was closing up the Inhuman saga, they started up. It's kind of weird how Jack did that. Actually, started up the coming of Galactus. So they didn't give much second.
And don't forget, you're picking some really good because Daredevil shows up in those issues too, right? Like you have Daredevil, you have some guest appearances, some great characters.
A little bit before that, though. In fact, that's the one that was good. And the Blind Man Shall Lead. And then after the coming of Galactus, after This Man, This Monster, you get Black Panther. I mean, there was what a run right there.
Yeah, really, I agree 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Marty?
Sure. So those are all great, great suggestions. And one of the ones that I first read as a reprint as a kid, I love this issue when the Thing is taken away to another planet, and I was able to get that's what I was mentioning. I think this might have been a reprint that I'd originally gotten, and I was able to track it down. But 91, 92, it's Ben on his own, kind of like a piece of the action on a gangster planet, and the art is just so phenomenal on this issue. It's just it's just so good, and then it just Ben is just great in there. So I think that's 91 and 92 if my memory is right. And he's got a battle Torgo.
I like Torgo.
Huge giant robot. Yeah, huge giant
Not
robot.
to be confused for the Torgo from Menace: Hands of Fate.
Yep. Yes. Definitely. Yep. So I'd recommend if you're a Ben Grimm fan, those are some good ones. Oh, it's hiding. I got so many issues lying around here. And of course, here's FF 100 is a classic. To read. That's a great issue. This is one I got to get. I got to maybe get graded. This issue was in perfect shape when I bought
it. Slabbed, huh?
Yeah, I don't slab. I haven't slabbed anything, but this one happened to be. I was mentioning that to you the other one time we were talking. How sometimes you get a comic and it's in perfect shape, and this one just happened to be beautiful.
Nice.
And of course, I love the Burn run, which I know a lot of people do. So of course, here's.
I hate to say it, but even I have that one. I hate because usually you have similar stuff I don't have. But I love this one and the one from FF number 1 as well. Yeah, that is fantastic.
Ooh, nice.
241 or 42, whatever.
241. So I think this. I'm trying to remember, and it's been so long since I read it, but I think it's 242. Terex comes back.
242 cover.
I love Terex. What a great character, too, eh? I love his design. That's a great character.
Well, here I can share my screen real quick, and I'll show you I have my comic book collecting program so I can share. I can show LT's issues he was talking about too, real quick.
Oh yeah! Wow.
So here's let's see if it lets. There we go. So here's I think Terex comes back 242, then 243. That's that cover by Burn. That's just such a great issue. And then 244.
That's funny because that one that go back to that last one. That my version of that. I love that so much. I read it raw, like the cover is ripped, and I keep saying, I got to pick that cover up again, that issue up again, because it is a mess. So that whole run, like there's 240 to probably 245. I read them, or well, maybe
just
even
over and over.
Yeah, just over and over and over again. Where he creates Nova, where he imbues her with the power cosmic. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I love it. It was really sad. Poor Johnny finally meets the perfect woman again, and again, she gets superpowers from someone else.
Well, she already had superpowers, but that's because Galactus was so weak, right? Because Galactus, so he used her own powers that she already had and just imbued them with the power of cosmic.
Yeah, which, in that first, but he'd been dating her for years though, and then she eventually in that issue, she didn't know she had superpowers for that one. If you remember, and then
that's right. Yep.
Not even the whole issue, and then she runs off with Galactus, man.
Yeah, I know. That's first appearance of Nova. Yep. First appearance as Frankie Ray. Yep.
The second Nova. Frankie Ray Nova.
Yep. And then 247. That's a great issue too. Yeah.
That is.
So the burn run is fantastic, and we'll go up to the aughts here, right? I can just fly through the covers quick so people can see all the covers, but that's all these reprints here. Where's number 2? There's number So no costumes, like you said, Clobby. Yep.
Not till number 3. Yep.
3. There we go.
He says, "This was it because you demanded it." Man, this is one.
Yeah.
I got that number 4 there when I got that Fireside reprint book. They reprinted 1. They reprinted 4 back in the 80s. I just could not stop rereading this reemergence of I didn't know it was a reemergence at the time. I didn't know as a kid of Namor the Submariner. What a great story that was.
Just classic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite of all time. Namor coming back. I love Namor. I think he's one of those classic anti-hero characters that's just, I think in recent history, he's been overutilized. He really should show up once in a while as kind of this monarch of Atlantis with that psychological issue he has, and because of his hybrid origins, where one parent is human, one parent is Atlantean, so he's got a problem with being able to stay on land or under the sea for too long before he gets the mental imbalance. I love how they develop that into the character, because that's why one minute he's a hero and is this great ally to the Fantastic Four, and the next minute he's fighting them. And that's what made it such a cool character. Because he's and we get back to what you said at the beginning, Clobby, where we talked about the great thing about the Fantastic Four comic over generations is they're flawed human beings. They have superpowers. I mean, they're incredibly gifted. One's intelligent, one's a great pilot, one's a charming man, the other one is a brilliant woman, and you have these great characters, but they're flawed, and that's why they break up all the time. They have normal likes and dislikes, and the storylines kind of reflect that. Where if you're looking at, Superman is this perfect character in the DC universe where he can do no wrong because he's that ultimate human being. Well, he's that ultimate being. Well, the FF, they all had flaws, and that was the villains could manipulate that. But at the end, they get through that. They struggle through that, and they end up coming out on top, even though they have those flaws. So it's just a great comic book.
Yep. I tell you, they had. What you got? Go ahead and show some more. Oh my God, Super Scroll.
Yeah, I'm just make a slideshow, just going through it. But these are the issues LT was talking about, 19 to 20. But just the imagination of Kirby and Lee. I mean, just
Super Scroll. I mean, that was awesome. Ramatut. Oh.
I mean, just all great ideas that all work. You're right, LT. Of course, your memory is fantastic. Molecule Man was issue number 20. And let's see here.
Monger 21. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. With Sergeant Fury. Before it
Mole
became
Man is back.
That was, I think, it was before they had Shield, sort of. Wasn't he with? They don't think they established Shield yet.
Yeah, it wasn't really I don't think they were established yet. So.
Yeah, because Nick Fury back then was the Howling Commandos.
Right.
He hadn't quite gotten into the
Shield comic
hadn't really, right.
Yeah, but it took place in World War II, though, so this was him later. But it wasn't too long after this they established him as Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course.
Exactly. Yep.
This is a crazy episode or issue. Yeah.
Oh, the Infant Terrible! I love that cover. I'm sorry, I
love it.
No, it's amazing, covers. But yeah. I mean, just it's not a normal, a normal thing. Never have you read a tale? Never have you seen a creature remotely like the Infant Terrible? Of course, Loki could read it much better than me, but with that voice. But it's just the imagination of these guys. Just
never have you read a tale. Never have you seen a creature remotely like the Infant Terrible.
There we go.
Yeah, that was well
done. Way to go, Loki.
Somebody needs to
clip
clip that.
Job. Clip that. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, here we go. Man. Who won this one?
The Avengers. Remember they were in the next issue. Remember this crossed over into the next issue with the Avengers.
Versus the thing.
Avengers take over.
This cover is just so incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this was considered the first in Marvel history character crossover, superhero crossover ever, probably, where they crossed over in one character, where Marvel heroes crossed into another title.
I love that. I love that last one too, where he had the Thing looking at the Hulk. He's got his mouth open. It's like a oh crap moment. Like it's just that's what's so great about this art, right? It's you actually can convey a myriad of emotion on the characters. Look at the Hulk. Like look at the Thing. He's like, oh, SHI star. Right? It's like he's going to hit me and it's going to hurt. And that's what I see out of that. And you've got the Invisible Woman in the background. You got Reed and Johnny and stuff. But that's what's missing in today's art, right? Conveying those emotions that really bring forth a great art and great story. That's why I love comic books right there.
Great description. Yep.
Wow. There you go.
20 Submariner.
Great stuff.
I mean, just the art is just so beautiful.
And it got his art was relatively cruder earlier, and as it goes on, you can see it developing because this is now right here. You're looking at it a couple of years in when they're doing all these other titles, and all these artists are coming in. They're telling them draw like Kirby, and this is when he started. It was various different inkers at the time doing Russo's, Chick Stone, and all these other guys. I love this cover, by the way. I love Lancy Street, but if you look as it progresses, the way his art evolves, and then after issue about like 40, 41, somewhere up in there, it just went at its peak for me, peak Kirby, especially with Joe Sonnen inking him on FF.
But that's a great thing, right? I'm sorry, Loki. Go ahead. I'm talking too much.
No, I didn't say anything.
I think that so these are some great covers, man. So the 20s and the 30s into the 40s. Oh, that Submariner cover right there. That's awesome.
And the stories were just getting most amazing. I mean, there's two.
That's a Tuma there. Yeah. It's just
not a Tuma.
It's not a Tuma. Jed, that's hilarious.
Dragon Man. Oh my! The Frightful Four. They never could get that fourth member nailed down, could they? I mean, Medusa, of course, didn't have her memory at this point. Finds out she's one of the Inhumans. You get close to the Inhuman saga right here. Actually, when you get to, do you have? Yep. Please call me Trapster. Oh wow!
And that was where they used Sandman correctly. Like you had he's a great. He's kind of a villain, but not. I don't really like where they redeemed him and they made him this good guy in Spider-Man. Like I liked him. I liked him as that.
They kind of did it in Marvel 2-in-1 first, but I kind of like that issue.
Yeah, that's true.
I hear you. Yeah. Look at number 30. Now, when you get to 39, you have 39 here. This is one of the greatest FF stories. That was going to be one of my recommendations. Now that you got it up, look, and a blind man shall lead them. There are 2 issues, I believe. This was, and I know Ash has watched the animated series from the mid '90s. We're talking about the first one of the second season is an adaptation of this one, with a few minor changes from story to the comic to the to that opener story there, Ash. They lose their powers. You have to lose their powers because of an explosion. And I actually, believe it or not, it might shock you. Ash may shock others. I actually like the changes they made on the cartoon. That they actually made a little bit of a. I'm not going to go into what they are because you should watch that episode. It's so good. But they did a wonderful job of adapting this great story. Here you got Daredevil with these pretty much no real superpowers to speak of other than his radar sense. Helping the FF against Doom, and this is a great Doom story as well. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I actually own that one, thankfully.
No, number 40?
No, 40. Oh, do I own it? Oh, no, I don't own that one. Oh, that's got to be in the buy list. Yep.
Oh, the buy list. There you go. Yep. The Battle of the Baxter Building. Yeah, great. Yeah, so. And, of course, right after that, they adapted on that same cartoon, if you remember, Ash, they adapted the Inhuman Saga, and they did a magnificent job of doing that, I believe.
Is that the first issue of this, or 42?
That's right around that one there would be the beginning of the Inhuman Saga, but don't quote me on that, I'm pretty sure. And then it went for a few issues there. Oh, man.
Here we go, yeah.
Wow, well, there you go. And if you see the next cover...
Yeah.
No, the 47. Let me see. Maybe I'm
47,
thinking about 47. Yeah, this one here. In the opening credits of that FF cartoon, which I love so much for that second season of the 90s cartoon, they even, because the only thing I don't like about the cartoons, they use those the darker uniforms with the white collars. I don't like those as much. But they, in the opening credits, they got like little homage pieces to this really, heroic music. And they got a shot of Doom. And they've got this in it. This scene. Just to pay homage to that cover for some reason, it's in there with these uniforms, by the way.
Great.
With the real deals.
Yeah, so they go from that.
Nicholas is here.
Like you said. Hail, Nick.
Hello,
hey, buddy.
hello. What's going on?
Hey, Flava Flavs.
Hi,
Good
how's
to see you,
everybody? Good to see you.
Man.
Sorry it took longer, but I was able to listen in as I was getting things sorted out. So all is
glad
good.
to see you, buddy. We're glad to see
Thank
you.
you.
Man. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Go on.
It's funny, this issue, though, here, Mark, and Todd, as we were talking about earlier, it is the first appearance of Galactus, but it opens up, finishing up the Inhuman Saga.
True.
It's kind of weird the way they did that. I guess they were just in a hurry, they had deadlines and stuff like that.
Then
And
49, of course.
Big G's in there for one page, I think, or something at the end. Yeah. Oh, this is a classic. Yeah. Yeah, he's in there. Oh, man. Wow. There's your boy. There's your boy there, Thoth. You love that surfer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the surfer.
Oh, the surfer.
And the Human Torch goes to college.
At the end of this story, they did the same kind of deal where the last few pages they finish their story and they start with that stuff with Johnny going to college. Then you got number 51 coming up there. I mean, good God.
I was just reading this one again this morning, and I still feel this issue. I still feel this one.
This is one of those powerful comics.
Dude. Even though I've read it before, it's just there's just something about this, and the art is just so beautiful too when Reed does his crossover. Oh my God, so good, and I was looking at it too on my TV too, on the digital, on a white TV, seeing that Kirby color. Oh my God, seeing on the TV was glorious. Oh, so good. Sorry, I had to fan out about this one.
It's a classic.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest FF titles of all time, and I would argue it's one of the greatest comic stories of all time too.
Oh, easily.
Oh,
I
agree
think that case too. One of the best one and dones.
Yes, and again, back on that.
And then, oh, sorry, I was gonna say, and then for an encore, let's introduce the Black Panther next issue, right?
Next issue,
think about how great that is. Yeah.
And that cartoon also adapted this brilliantly. This story of Black Panther. This is man, this is just a great introduction to T'Challa.
Hey, Clobby, I gotta pop
buddy.
off, brother.
I got you, dude, bro. We really
Thank
appreciate
you
you being
so
here,
much.
man. Thank you for hanging out with us, bud.
Thank
Cheers,
you. Thank you
dude.
for
Take
the
care, Loki.
invite. And thank you guys for the great time hanging out and talking
Okay, man.
Fantastic Four. And you guys take it easy, all right?
All right, buddy.
Yeah,
See you on the round
love
table.
being on a
That's
stream with you,
We're
Loki,
good, we're
man. Great stuff, man. Love your show in the morning. So
Heck
see
yeah,
you tomorrow morning.
See you
Take
tomorrow.
care, sir.
Thanks, brother.
Take care.
You too. Y'all take care.
Later.
All right, buddy. Wow, I love this cover.
Yeah.
See, you cannot. There's a look when it comes to the Human Torch. I just got to say something that it may not be popular, but if he doesn't look like that, or some variation of, and he doesn't look red with the fire on him, with his face, not with the stupid hair, not with any of these idiotic modern iterations that I cannot stand, the orange or with his hair flaming on, you could see the four, any of that crap, I can't stand it. It needs to be Kirby, Kirby, or one of the other artists later with doing him in the same form, or it drives me insane. That's the way I want the Torch to look. Sorry,
I love the lines on the Torch too. I'm all about that look.
It's like the tuxedo. You really can't change it. The classic
Yeah.
black and the
No,
bow tie.
you don't.
No.
Why would you change a character who's amazing as he is? It's like Superman. I hate the modern version of Superman.
Oh,
I
too.
like him having his underwear outside.
Yep.
yup.
Yep.
Yep, and I call them trunks, but I'm with you. Absolutely, I can't say any. I don't like when they mess with this costume one iota. Give about the 55 there for a minute there, huh, Mark?
Sure. Yep. I think that was at the episode issue.
This-
Purple had mentioned. Yep. Okay,
I don't
go
know if
ahead.
Purple. No, Doom's not in this. I don't know if Purple mentioned
No,
this or not.
57.
Oh, Shimo. Okay, we'll get that. I just want to say,
Yep.
this is one of the most. It was one of those things. It was just a misunderstanding, but it's so fun to watch the way when he goes off on Surfer and starts beating the crap out of him. The Surfer doesn't want to hurt him, and it's the only reason he's getting able to beat up on someone with those powers. But some of the greatest Kirby battle, some of the greatest scenes of Kirby knocking him through, through buildings and crap. Ben knocking Surfer through buildings. Some of the best Kirby action I've ever seen. What was the one you're talking about? The Purple
I
mentioned.
think was 57 the one that Purple had mentioned is one of her favorites. I can't
Is that
remember
one? I'm not sure.
now. I can't
I
remember.
love this cover. I love this cover.
Oh, I do too.
So much. Oh, I love like the Doom's eyes too, the giant mouth. It kind of gives him like more of a Galactus vibe on this cover, even though he's just like a normal sized guy. But obviously, he's had moments where he's looked giant size. But God, I love it. Look at 2. Oh my God, 2. I still reel about the prices. 2 cents.
Well, that must be 12.
Authority or 12. Yeah. Even
12, yeah.
12 cents is still
It's
like
2 cents, Nick.
2 cents would have been awesome.
I know, right? Can you imagine how many comics, especially good ones, we can get today if we got them like that? Woo!
Is that the one Purple or no?
Yeah, but people today wouldn't like pay 2 cents for any of these comics.
I would.
Purple? Is that
No,
the one you
no.
mentioned, or I can't remember.
Any of the newer
I think
comics
she
in
left.
it.
I
Did
see
Purple-
Retro's comment in the private chat saying,
Oh,
Yeah, I think she
The
had to
show-
go.
She had to
I
leave. Okay.
I think
she's a
so.
Doom-
She's still
Doom-
here.
If she's a Doom fan, I'm sure she'd love these. Would love these issues. Yep.
Yeah, my streamer shows she's still her.
One of my favorite read lines is at the end of that Silver Surfer.
Well, have
fight.
Purple, you still there? It shows she's still here.
Yeah, she said she had to go in a half hour, which was at
I know, but
6:30
my
my
streamer
time.
show
So
maybe my streamer's just messed up. So okay, it's weird. It's showing that she's still here. Straight.
Hey, Clobby, my favorite read line is at the end of that Silver Surfer thing fight where he just gets so pissed at Ben and says, I'm going to beat you up myself.
Oh, she's still here.
woo!
yeah,
No, Purple. We didn't want to let you go without saying goodbye, though. There, if you had to run, but oh gosh, so late over there.
Yeah.
You always
God
forget.
bless you.
Yeah, but love you, Purple. Yeah. You there?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay. Well, like I said, hang as long as you want to, but we understand how late it is over there, my dear. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. So we appreciate you.
Oh, I forgot about that cover with the Sandman. Forgot
Where's-
all about that one.
Where's Ironcaster, by the way? He said he reread all these. He was in
Iron is moving a pool table. So
Oh, okay. Oh, that's too bad. He said he reread all of these with the
he showed us how big the thing was. Yeah, it's not good.
He needed the thing to help him move the
The
pool
thing,
table.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just saying he read all the whole Kirby run.
Yep.
He was interested. I know he wanted to talk about it today. Oh well.
If it's a proper pool table, it's going to be filled with slate. So yeah, that's going to be heavy.
Oh no, purple. Look, stay as long as you want. Like I said, I thought you. I just couldn't. I didn't hear you when I was hollering at you there.
Yeah, was she muted or something?
I don't know. That's okay.
No,
But
I
Pearl's
was
not allowed to go.
Trying to answer, but kept getting talked over. Anyway, guys,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Much appreciated.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that, Purple.
Cheers,
Love you. And
Purple.
listen, come hang out soon if you will, please.
Cheers, Purple.
Thank you, guys. You take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye,
Take
Take care,
care.
Purple.
Bye, Purple.
You have a good one.
The Cocoon featuring the power of him.
Oh yeah, I dig me this one.
Wow.
What a run! There's no
Right.
run ever like it. I mean, you can do.
Yeah, never be equal.
Remember,
Look at this. Look at
Not
these
with that
covers.
many issues. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I know, right?
102.
This is 102 exact, and then that's if you don't include the annuals, of course.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
If you include the annuals, it's more than that. Plus 103, he had some of us art in there, but John Romita finished most of it. But just a technicality. But it was 102 regular issues.
Yes, traditional numbers.
Yeah, we all love Purple here tonight. And we thank Purple for being with us, everyone. Big shout out to Purple there. Love you. The best.
Purple.
Yeah.
Always love this cover. I don't know why. Just because it was superheroes funny, I guess.
Dude, come on.
It's
How
good enough.
could you just look at that? I love the red on this cover. The red really. I love the red on this.
Yeah. Here's some more red for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Oh. Thing looks like he's just chilling out in that one. He was just like, I need to take a rest here. We guys are fighting.
That's a great cover too.
Just works of art. Works of art.
He's a king for a reason.
Yeah. Works of art.
Well, that's one of the icons I think that you have, Clobbering Times. I think that's the art from that cover, if I'm correct. A lot of people, cut this out and use that image of Ben.
Oh yeah. He's one of the best. That's one of my favorites.
Oh man. Oh, that's on Crystal. Yeah. Yeah. I love this is the actual Inhumans. This is the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Look at the motion in that cover too. It's like it's moving. If you.
It's one of my favorite
makes-
covers right there.
Every page he does, he doesn't even have to have panels to make it look like it's moving.
Poor Johnny.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
she really just.
He has terrible
What she
taste
did to
in
Johnny
women.
is just terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, he gets screwed over
Yeah.
by every single little person, like woman. So, and then he married a scroll. Like,
Sometimes it just really be like that, bro.
Now, see, I don't think I'd have a problem marrying a scroll because every night could be a different encounter.
I know, right? That's the reason why I was like, why didn't you stick with her? You could have like Wonder Woman one night, like you could have like She-Hulk another, and like
Yeah, you could have Aaron Gray another night. I mean,
yeah, you could have Mary Jane or Valkyrie or like you could have it all, man. Like.
Just going back to the original series Star Trek episodes, like, okay, sweetheart, so we're on, let's see, is there in truth no beauty? So the lady in that
Mults women.
Butts women.
You might get
if she can
Scurfies from
split
the
into
scroll.
3, that's even better.
Wait now. Then see what debug? You might get Scurfies from a scroll though.
Scurpies.
And she could even turn into your favorite porn star if you wanted to. So,
Bow chicka wow wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So those
Did
are
he
one of my.
go
Yeah.
back as far as the 1990s?
And like the Critical Drinker says, you know, Tatiana could make an appearance.
I know, right?
Shout out to the Critical Drinker.
Yeah, no.
Oh, and this is one of the episodes of my issues my grandfather got for me. And it was a reprint. You know, it's world's greatest comic magazine, or what was that? Was that what they're calling that series, Mike?
Marvel's greatest.
Marvel's great. Yeah. So I gotten this, and I got to buy the original now. But just one of the, and I thought I had the the original for years, but I just remember getting some comic book covers just stick in your mind, like you can't forget them, and that's one of those.
Well, you don't want to go back to the 70s and like early 80s because nobody shaved. So,
and then this is number 100, and I guess this is the end of the run, right? 101 and 102. That's the last full issue, correct? You were saying Clobbering Times?
This was the last Kirby issue, starting the Kirby cover for me to.
The end of the run proper, of course.
Yeah.
This is the end of the run proper.
And
that's of course without the annuals, and then this is the beginning of a change.
Yeah, I can go down to the annuals, show those because those are pretty historic.
I love. Yeah, one of them was I think a Doom origin. One of them was a Doom origin. I think it was 2 or 3. I'm gonna get on my phone. Remember? No, yeah, number 2. Yeah, number 2.
And the annuals were just so much fun back in the day. It was like a huge event to get the annual, and
it actually meant something to get the annual, especially that Namor story. You see how devoted he was to earning Sue's love, but obviously her choice was the right choice, Mr. Ben, and Reed. So yeah, I just remember, it was cool because those books always had so much more story to them too. Like you always got a lot of content in your normal traditional book, but the annuals, they were actual annuals. They always had lots of content.
72 issues for 25 cents.
God, just imagine.
You mean 72 pages, not issues.
Oh, what?
Pages.
He's like 72 issues for 25 cents. Really, Mark?
Stream Brain. That's the classic, right?
Yeah. I'm trying. I can't remember what
that's one to be drawing. Yeah, that's a wedding.
Oh, the wedding.
Yeah.
Ah.
And the rematch.
I have that one right there too.
Number 5, we got the Inhumans, Black Panther. So yeah, the annuals were really, really great. Good.
Right? The annuals, once again, the annuals were great. And they also added to the story, too. And you also got little bonus things, too, which was awesome. But, I love this cover right here.
That's awesome, man.
I have that one. Wasn't that the one where Franklin was born? That's the one where Franklin was born, I think.
Franklin Richards, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I have that one.
Which one?
This one.
That's it right there.
Number 6.
Yeah.
$725.
Yeah, I have that. I actually bought that for like $50 at the comic book shop, and it was in near mint at one time when in the early 90s.
Beautiful.
So.
That's a cool cover. Yep.
He didn't even know it. I was like, "Are you sure?"
Oh
like,
yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, I haven't read this one in a while. I remember this issue. Oh, Namor taking over New York City never gets old.
This is actually Kirby. The one before that was a Ramita cover.
Lo, there shall be an ending.
His marriage shall not take place. Yep. Does anyone have anything to say? Yeah, Dr. Doom shows up at your wedding. You know you're in trouble.
Yeah, you know he's gonna object. Like,
come on, Reed.
Yeah, this is a reprint, by the way.
Namor's gonna, of course, Namor's gonna object.
He's like, no, Sue's mine. Like,
didn't have Dr. Doom showing up at my wedding. Never mind.
Because nobody ever but you wanted to marry Sam, dude. So they're like, yeah, go ahead, have her. We're good, bro. Like,
number 11 was Kirby was the last cover artist for number 11. It looks like.
Oh, he did that one.
So
the cover.
And that's what year is that? The year cover date? It was on cover.
That
So
be like
78. Yeah.
75 or 6, 7.
Yeah.
Was it 8? Okay.
So it came back for a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
We came back in the mid 70s and did his own titles and did a bunch of covers. It looks like more like an Alan Weiss cover on that one, but yeah, or Pablo Marcos, one of those guys.
Yeah, so it's the later annuals when they.
Yeah, Sinat cover.
But just want to show while we got this up one issue that got me collected again. So
yeah, it
so
looks like
3.
crap.
Yeah, sorry.
Dude,
I know you
when
don't like
he had that, oh, dude,
I know
when
you
he
don't
had
like
that
pineapple
mask.
thing, but I was in
the Thingosaurus.
I was in the bookstore and in the mall back when they actually had comics and easier to find, and I'm like I hadn't bought comics like 5 or 6
Ain't
years.
nothing like the real thing. Just show that cover.
And I grabbed this. It just caught my eye, and I'm like, "What the hell did they do to Ben? This is horrible." But then I bought it, and then I started collecting again, and that was when they had the she thing and the pineapple thing, and I know,
yeah,
but that to me that's special because it brought me back into collecting again.
Mark,
and,
you gotta show 337.
Yeah, where's 330? Ain't nothing like the real thing, right? Yeah, that was.
Well, 337's the time.
Well, that time,
stuff.
yeah, that's a time.
That's
yep.
That's one of my favorite storylines.
What's weird about that is Simonson did that and Thor 337.
Yeah, I love this one to death. Yeah.
Thor 337 was his first on Thor, and it's funny how ironically it was his first on FF source writing.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole time sled thing was just the time thing. The time stream saga was awesome.
It's only a few issues, right? Yeah, because it's only
it's 341, I think.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Was the cover that actually even I went back to buying it.
Yeah, I love that. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. I love that cover, dude.
And Doom comes back and he's all he says he looks at everything that's been going on in the past years and says this can't be right.
Yeah.
What number is that? 352.
Getting close to it.
Yeah, getting close to it.
Yeah.
I think it was 350.
Maybe 350 something.
Well, there's the one Loki was talking about. The
yeah.
Fantastic.
Dude, that one was I love that one. Yeah, where they were Fantastic Four.
It's only $2.50 right now. Wow.
Yeah, I have like 5 copies of that.
And then but the prices went crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like the real thing. Yeah, yep, yeah.
There it is, 350.
I love that cover there.
And I was away from the book, not even caring about it anymore that much. And I bought this one. And then he didn't get to stay on it that long.
Man, thing looks naked. Whoa.
Yeah, like the style.
That's a good cover too. Yep. You got the lines there. Yeah.
That's nice.
And then and then we'll go show maybe a couple of the burn.
Hot
issues,
Time in the Omniverse. I love that one.
232 was when was first burn?
Well, 232 was when he first started writing it.
Writing, right?
Before that, he had done many different issues.
Yeah,
this is when he first started writing the book.
Yeah, so let's see. It tells me here where it shows me here where
that was the start of his run right there.
Yeah, Sienkiewicz and Sinat did it before that for a while with Doug Minch writing. Before that, Byrne drew it for a while, a couple of different times, with Wolfman, Manilow, people like that. With Sinat inking him, so it looked better. This was a good run for a while.
It was a great run right there.
I have a complete run in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and some of the 60s. So, a Fantastic Four.
Honest, Dr. Doom, it's not in this Marvel comic. So.
Yeah.
Frank, you're right.
Now, when you get to talking anniversaries of the Fantastic Four, you're getting close to a great one.
Yeah. Toys R Us shopping spree.
236.
What is
you pass it up.
236. Oh, that's a good
one.
one.
I love that one.
20th anniversary.
That one was wow.
A great story. This is a great Doom story.
Yeah.
This is a great Doom story as well.
And they credit Jack Kirby as the artist. Is that they they just took some of his work and put it in there? Or?
No.
Or maybe just a cover.
They had they had what did it say? Let me go again the cover.
Well,
I've read this one in the
program. Well, in the program here, they list everything. Yeah, written by John Bernstein. I don't know why they. Maybe they took a few panels.
An old unpublished story or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm missing that one. Oh, crud. I got to buy
That's-
that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
Which
nice
one,
art.
Mark? Which one?
I can't remember now, but I know he didn't do. He was way away from
236?
Marvel. He was not. He was not working for Marvel at that point.
Okay.
236 is easy to get. I
Oh,
got
here
like
they go.
4 copies of it.
Plus an all-new FF blockbuster by Stan the Man Lee and Jack the King Kirby on the cover.
Yeah.
It says there in the bottom.
It says that,
maybe,
but
It had Herbie.
yeah.
It was a
But
Herbie
yeah,
story.
but it was a reprint. I mean, he wasn't working for Marvel at that time. Maybe it was an unpublished something they put in there, but I can't remember. This is 1981.
Yeah, the
you're talking.
artwork's nice. Yeah.
Someone in the chat could tell us maybe.
I
if they
haven't
have
read it
that
since
stuff.
1981, so
Yeah.
it was a good comic, though. It was a good issue.
Yeah, the Burn Run was a good, fun.
I liked
That was when I was a kid. I
First
loved
couple
that,
of
yeah.
years, and then I got really aggravated with it.
Yeah. Well, that's that classic cover in 250. So, but Byrne wrote it for quite a while. He was on the FF. And this one, I have a bunch of posters of this one. That's
Oh
a good-
yeah,
Yeah.
the sideways
Good
cover. I remember that.
Yep.
I traded. I had a duplicate of what was it? Fantastic Four. Was it 45? And I traded it for the whole run of 60s, 70s, 80s. But almost, and I was like, "Are you sure, dude? I'm just giving you one comic, and you're giving me the whole run to all of this." He's like, "Yeah, I want that." I was like, "Okay, I'm telling you right now." Like, gave it over, and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are you sure, dude?" I'm like, "I'm letting you know." I told him like 3 or 4 times. I was like, "Dude," and I just walked out with like 4 or 5 long boxes of comics for one comic, and I was just like,
And then we're getting we got the She-Hulk drawings.
"Yeah, dude, I love that one."
She-Hulk's in there in terms
I
of-
like She-Hulk, man, when she was in Fantastic Four.
See how much they reused that Kirby art in the cover, like Clobbering Times is saying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Clobbering Time. Yep. That's great.
Wasn't that
That's
when
the-
his dad showed? Yeah, that was when his dad showed up.
This is a funny one, yeah. This big and green is a staple in her navel. It's when they're trying to.
I love that cover with
Burn
She-Hulk.
trying to be break the fourth wall, which I know a lot of people don't like it.
What's
But
big green?
so
and
how
has a
far did he? Wow,
stick.
he wrote. God, he was all the way up to 293. Was
Yeah, he went a
That
long
was a
time.
trippy issue. The
oh, we don't
Evening
want
of
to show
the
that. Yep,
Witch.
can't show that anymore.
Oh, that was a trippy issue.
And then it's Ordway's on. Yep. So then, while I got this up, any other issues anyone wants to show a cover for or anything? Or
That's right. Now I remember that was storyboards from a cartoon that Kirby that was doing sort of a reworking of FF number 5, the beginning of Doom or whatever, and they used it for it was going to be on a cartoon. So yeah, it was new Kirby, all right, but it really wasn't.
really wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Before
like
he
that
developed
thing no more. One.
Anyway,
Yeah, I was like,
no.
that was when Shannon was in his outfit too. If you look, right there, before she became like Mrs. Thing.
Thought has to run, but so we're about to run anyway, Thought, because we've been here on for 2 hours now. We didn't want to make this. I should make it 4 hours at a tribute to FF, but I can't. I gotta.
Oh, I can wait for a
Right.
few minutes if
This
you're doing
could
your wrap.
easily do another.
Yeah.
We could easily done another 2.
Yeah, but I got stuff to handle, and I'm gonna be on. I've told our good buddy Doomcock I'll be on with him tonight. So
Okay.
gotta do some stuff
Ooh,
before I'm-
nice. Nice.
So you
But
can help
yeah,
me out there, Clobby, and I mentioned to Doomcock that I sent him a message on Twitter because Dan at the Spacebook has been trying to get on there, but he hasn't replied yet. But yeah, just give him a little nudge there for me, would you?
No, I mean, nudge, say no more.
Oh my God, Mark D,
Hey,
you're
know what
already
I mean?
killing me.
You know what I mean? Know what I
know what I mean, nudge.
Know what I mean?
You got some more stuff to show us there, Mark? Before we get, we can.
Yeah,
end with
but
a little
not to
Fantastic Four
monopolize.
show and
Sorry,
shit.
but
No,
I-
it's cool.
yeah.
We're enjoying it, man. I got what I needed to do. We talked about our
yeah.
beginnings with FF. We talked about our favorite FFs. Now it's all in yet, man. If you got some fun stuff to show everybody for some FF show and tell, and I hate, I This FF Fantasticar, mine has all the pieces to it and all them in there. And then I got given one that's the only thing I still have in the box, just about, because I got given an extra one for a birthday a number of years ago. And I'm like, I don't know why I was given that, because I already had it, but now I have two of it. So those guns flung them off really easy, by the way. And they didn't even need guns on them. I always hated the guns on there.
Yeah, they don't need the guns. But,
And it comes apart. I used to have it hanging from my ceiling, by the way.
yeah, maybe I'll put this on the ceiling.
So I thought we were going to wrap up. We're going to show some more pictures here first, though, dude.
Oh well, I should take off then. But this has been an unbelievable honor to be part of this. Just a chance to talk about one of our true loves, the Fantastic Four. It's just an amazing comic, amazing stories. It's been one of those beacons of light in the comic industry since 1961. Happy anniversary. Hopefully it will last for another 50 years, but almost 60 years, I should say. And it's sad what's happening today in the comic industry, but you know what? In all honesty, we can just go back, reminisce, and talk about the old titles and the old stories.
Yeah.
Pick up those comics, read them, whether it's the DVD or whether it's buying back issues. Nowadays, there's a lot of auctions that are up that are selling a lot of those old classic Fantastic Four issues for pennies on the dollar. So get out there, enjoy what we've enjoyed for all these years. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being a part of this ride. It's been a lot of fun. Everyone on the panel here, it's always an honor to be a part of your conversations and chime in a little bit, my little teeny little bit of knowledge that I have on the title.
Oh, dude, come on now.
I didn't acknowledge you. I wish I had a tenth of your knowledge.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We love you, dude.
I love all of you too. Thank you, man.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Take care, dude.
Yep, take care, and hopefully, Clubby, you get all of that monetization things all figured out, because I know you say, oh, it's not important, but you deserve it. You deserve a little bit of pocket change to pick up a coffee or a couple of burgers at the local joint there.
Or another hardcover 3.
You work hard for your channel, and you deserve it, man. So everybody out there, like, share, subscribe. If you're not already a member, please hop on board to all these great panelists' channels. Check them out. Watch their videos. Subscribe, because they're awesome. So have a good night, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you, man.
Cheers, love. Cheers, dude. We love you, dude.
Cheers.
See ya, LT.
Cheers. That thing you got in the front seat was that from the first line of Toy Biz? And was that based on that cartoon? Because he looks different from the one I have.
I thought it was the cartoon one, which is why I grabbed it.
He looks sort of like that first season one a little bit. Which
it wasn't.
First
I have
season
the
was
thing
terrible.
that's behind
first,
back there.
Is it the first? And then this was the later.
One of the first seasons looked like an ape. There you go. That's the one I got. That's from the second season.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that looks more like a proper Ben there.
Poor
Even with the white pants.
It can never fit into the stuff. But what's cool? This has some sound effects.
Where's Reed?
Reed is in one of my boxes. So
In my age.
Reed's missing in action.
He's in the lab.
Reed's got getting some tail,
He's in the lab.
He's in the lab, yeah.
Oh.
And it makes fun noise.
Oh.
And then, of course, you can, like CLOBBERIN Time said, you can detach these. So
Yep, they detached. I remember it was tough keeping that thing together when I hung it from my ceiling with wires years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the heck did you hang that? I mean, that couldn't have been easy to do.
It wasn't easy, but I had them kind of hanging at an angle. I did for many years until I moved. Well, until about 2004 when I moved. But yeah.
But that was what was so cool about the Fantastic Car, it's kind of apart.
Because we had one of these in pop culture, and it fell when we were moving it to dust and stuff. It would fall apart.
It'll come apart.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it's not,
and then I had to keep putting it back together. We had to put it up on the shelf where nobody would mess with it.
Yeah. See, I kept losing those guns. The guns are kind of weird. Now the red gun is based on something that was on the cartoon, where it shoots at scrolls. They're shooting at the scrolls, but yeah.
Don't break it, Mark. If you break it, you buy it.
That's your fault,
I got an extra
Mark.
one
You just
for you,
broke
dude.
it.
And then I also have a I dug out this fantastic card. It's never been out of the box.
Oh Lord!
Wow.
Oh, I like that actually.
Wow.
That's that dumb one from the Rise of Silver Surfer. It actually looks cool like that, but in the movie, it's kind
It
of
looks
dumb.
way better as a toy. This looks way
It
better
does
as a toy.
look as a toy than in
Isn't
the
it
movie.
funny how that happens? Seriously,
Yes,
I
it
would
does look pretty
own
cool.
that.
They put Dodge on there, which is
Yeah.
Dodge.
Did they have a 4 on the one in the movie? I can't remember now.
so. Here are the toys from the.
Oh, the line, yeah. I remember I had the torch one, and I don't know. It was the one to the far left I had, and I don't remember what happened to it. Ugh. The only one I had. I remember I was just very bitter with a certain cloud. So it was just like, but I got to give my $10 for the torch.
That's
That's
way
where I
better.
was at.
Yeah, I
better as a
bought
toy.
Sue and Torch and the thing on the motorcycle. So
That comes.
Yeah,
it didn't come a piece. It didn't come apart in the movie, did it?
I think
Yeah,
it
it
did at
did.
one point. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
it did.
Okay.
I
It
can't
did.
remember.
I watched it again recently. I still can't remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
it came apart in the movie when Surfer attacked.
Okay, good.
So
That's
they
something
went
at
off to
least.
do something, and then Surfer came along. It went apart, and then that's when Surfer flew off into space. Johnny Storm went to follow him, and that's when he essentially turned into the Super Scroll.
Okay.
Absorbing other people's powers and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, now I remember. Thank you. Yes, because I watched it recently. You think I would remember it, but those movies. Yeah.
dude, I have that. That's an awesome book. I like that. The
It's
art in it's good.
That's treasury size. I hate the costumes, but I like
Yeah.
Danger. It was kind of
The art's
because
good.
it was
in
modern
it, so-
Superman. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art was in Galactus, yeah. And then, of course, last couple of things to show. Of course, you got to have a thing truck.
Of course.
So I wish we had that in Fortnite. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
You would crash it all the time, Mark.
Not this. Can't. But yeah, it's just cool. They have all these
Ran over the white
toys.
spinny. Yeah.
When we put
Nice.
the big wheels on the big things, you crash them.
Yeah.
Of course, this is so much fun having some of these comic book vehicles are so stupid. I think, but this one actually-
Yeah.
that one actually wor- that one
Although
actually
Mark
worked, yeah.
did save our ass last night and won the game for us.
I did win, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I
And
gotta
last
give him
one-
props for that.
Last one
My
I'll
shield
show
was
is
going down, and he came up from the side, and he said, "Blat blat," and
I
got
use
him.
the
so-
ultimate nullifier.
Yeah.
So here's this is kind of big to get into the frame, but this is the Build-A-Figure. Galactus Build-A-Figure. Pull over Galactus. Let's see if I can get him.
Nice.
So they did a really nice job with the face sculpt on this figure too. So
Wow.
I thought they did a really nice.
Dude.
Yeah, man, he
Yeah.
crashes into everything. Like,
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
So that Build-A-Figure, and of course I don't know how this is. The new one's gonna be 32 inches. How big is this?
Wow.
How big is this figure?
Bigger than that one. Yeah, I say.
Yeah, if it's gonna be.
at least he's not going to be a cloud. That's a good
How
thing.
big is this? Guys, 15 inches. So. Yeah, 15 inches. So, oh my God, if it was 32 inches, where am I going to put that? That's
Good.
Mm.
Good.
He just killed
You're gonna have
He
to
just
sneak
pressed
it.
the fantastic card.
Oh.
Dude, you did. Oh my God. Mark, really?
Oh,
It's just-
no.
Mark.
Oh, it's okay, Dad, man.
You just lost your car with 15 inches, dude. What's
Yeah.
going on? No.
Oh, no.
Galactus gave Sue his 15 inches.
Dude, oh my God, my poor car. Oh God. Oh.
No.
So maybe I shouldn't buy that 32-inch Galactus. That'll be
Oh no,
very
because you're
dangerous
gonna
around the
destroy
house.
things, dude.
Well, thank you
Yes.
for letting me show that. Though.
No, I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you all for being here today. I tell you what, I mean, we we just wanted to pay a little tribute to the Fantastic Four because we love it. And again, it was Marvel won't do anything like this or anything, and we just all we did was talk about our beginnings with the FF and what since this was #1, came out 60 years ago today. some things we love about it and things like that. I guess to tribute it, we did it at 4:00, and we probably should have went 4 hours, but we can't do that. We went enough though, and we got a lot of people in there to talk about the FF, except Nick, of course, who did not get a chance to say much about it. So before we go, I guess we'll rectify a little because it was. How did you start out with if you did start out with the FF, or even if you know much about him, Nick, or what your thoughts on him? Because we never got you the chance to get you to comment, and then we'll get out of here if you do that.
Oh yeah, I can try to make this snappy. Oh boy, my first memory was when McDonald's was still serving like Marvel toys. And I think it was mid '90s. I think earlier mid '90s, and I remember I got the Human Torch as a toy, which I still have to this day. Right here, I got this guy right here. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, and it still works.
Yeah.
It still works. So it was a big deal to having this. So
Too bad you can use as a lighter to light cigars. That'd be cool.
Hey, Nick, if you ever lose that one, I have like 10 of them that I worked the shot. I can send you another one, okay?
So I got the toy. I was fascinated with the character immediately, and then of course, I just looked at when KB Toys was relevant. I would get I would see like a lot of the reprints, and remember, I saw Amazing Spider-Man #1 with the issue with the Chameleon and the Fantastic Four in that issue. I'm like, oh, who are the Fantastic Four? I gotta look into them, and I would find that KB Toys actually had some comic books and old, reprints of some of these comics, and I was happy to look into this. And then all of a sudden, before I know it, they were on Spider-Man. I saw that they had their own show, and over time, throughout the years, I would try to read some of those stories as much as I could. I was looking at the newer stuff later on, and I was really like sporadically, but then mid-20s, I came right back into like, you know what? I never read Lee and Kirby, like all of it. I read I think around probably 1 through 20. And so then I read all 102 in my mid to late 20s and was just rereading. And I realized, wow, all these characters that we know, like for movies or for just like accept in our formats, a lot of them started here. You had the debut of the Black Panther, you had the debut of Galactus, you had the proper true Inhumans, of course, Doctor Doom, Mole Man, Molecule Man, you had Diablo, Ramatut as well, for what would become Kang the Conqueror. So yeah, it was just this gateway, and learning about the Kirby story and seeing his art and how he truly was an innovator. And then learning he would get like 4 pages done a day. I just kept rereading the story. Just so many heartstrings. It really made me feel a lot of things. But besides Spider-Man, Daredevil, Fantastic Four is one of those other groups in comics that made me have a lot of emotions because of how wonderful stories were. And I've just been on my renaissance with them since mid-20s, and it's been just beautiful and full circle since. And I managed to score a few months ago. I scored my giant hardcover of 1 through 30, annual #1.
Nice.
As you can see, there's the cover done by Ross. But what's cool, even cooler, is at the back, you have some of the covers that didn't make it for some of Kirby's covers. Like, I don't know if you want to zoom in on the screen, but Jack Kirby's unused cover for #3, and unused cover for annual #1 right here. So we got.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there were some unused covers he did, sure.
Yeah, so those are some of his unused covers right there. So those are the ones that didn't make the cut.
Yep, the one on the left there. Yep.
Yep, and then
I'm so glad they
pretty good
didn't go with that one.
Yeah. Of course, you got there's unused pages too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah. So it's been something that
I love omnibuses.
Yeah, dude. Especially since I didn't have to worry about I like having don't get me wrong, digital's been my friend before I was able to get giant big fat books because I was using the app for quite a few years to read those Lee and Kirby comics. I was like, since I lost all my old reprints, I don't know what happened to them. Tragedy struck, and I'll never know. But Johnny Storm is one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. And as far as families go, I mean, they're the first family that stuck with me. And when I was discovered the Fantastic Four as a kid versus the X-Men, everyone was getting to the X-Men. I liked them, but they were huge for me. I was just so much more interested into the Fantastic Four. I remember even when the X-Men came out with their movie 2000, I was like, yeah, this is cool, but where's a Fantastic Four movie? That was my whole spiel. Where's my Fantastic Four movie? I love the phrase of his Clobbering Time. I love that Johnny and Ben are like two brothers who fight all the time, and they're just they're at each other's throats all the time. They clash all the time. You got Reed, who's is the smartest character in Marvel Comics. We're gonna go with that. I will say it. That's a hill I will die on. You got Sue, who is the heart and soul of the team as well. And then, of course, you learn about Grimm. He lives his life on the outside, but he has such a deep, wonderful personality on the inside. You to see him find love with like Alicia Masters is great. The Puppet Master issue debut was amazing. Yeah, just endless, amazing story and characters. I could feel something with each and every one of the Fantastic Four. There's something I could love about all of them, absolutely all of them. So they will always be with me till the day I die, really.
Well, excellent, excellent, man. I guess.
Favorite issues. Sorry, I didn't even lay out my favorite issues.
Go for it.
Number 51. I love. I know we were going through her. Number 51.
Right.
I love 57 through I think 60. It's that Silver Surfer Dumark. Yeah, the Silver Surfer Dumark, because that's also what they use for the episodes for season 2. They basically went for that story from that arc. Do you remember that in season 2?
Yep. No, you're right.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
yep.
And of course, season 2 is just absolutely wonderful as well. I mean, God, season 2 is another. I love that season 2. I used to always laugh at the season 1 intro. I still put it on every 3 to 4 months on an annual basis to remind myself, why did they go for some disco song on here?
Well, actually, a funny story was the day of my wedding. In the morning, I was watching. Of course, it was a Saturday, so I was watching that FF cartoon. And my buddies are like, "Mark, it's time to get married." I'm like, "Yeah, but this is a really good episode."
This is a really good episode. As he's about to get married.
Hey, it's time to get married.
Yeah,
hold up, wait, just 10 more minutes. This episode's halfway done. It's really good.
You're gonna be late.
Go look at this dog, Lockjaw. You'll like him. I'll bring the kids over here. Bring the kids. They'll like this. They'll understand why we're waiting. Look, it's the Inhumans. Look, it's the Inhumans.
Well, there wouldn't have been any kids if I kept watching the episode, I think.
Oh, we love you, dude. Oh, we love you. Oh, God.
Kids would not exist, man.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Oh, you're so awesome.
Right?
Oh,
Well, the missus in the other room. I don't want to pull her in, but I'd ask her. I don't want to tell her that. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, dude.
Oh,
well,
Lord.
when it comes to FF, I guess I will close up with just a couple of recommendations for anyone who is interested in the classic stuff, the FF, in terms of wanting to learn about the ins and outs, the things that went on during the creation. There are 2 books I want to recommend. If you just want to read about how things got started and everything. Now, this is a little bit tougher to get, though. You can at least get the digital version. Wow, someone's got some weird noise going on back there. Man, anyway, we'll have to live with it. The digital version you can find on Tomorrow's. This is considered to be an issue of the Jack Kirby Collector. I mean, I have every issue up, but they did it in a trade paperback form around 2011 or something like that. Wow, what is that scratching?
Yeah, stop scratching your ass, dudes.
It was anyway. This is a great read. This covers how everything got started, what went on behind the scenes, and then talks about every single issue of the Lee Kirby run. I always call it the Kirby Lee run. But and then if you were interested in the battle in terms of who did what between these two gentlemen, who to believe, who not to believe, in their own words, in a very fair and balanced way. Because I've studied this thing about the who did what in the credit battle for years and who got screwed over. We know it was Kirby and Ditko. But if you want to read a book that's very fair-minded about it, it doesn't take sides, just shows you things they said. This by Tomorrow's is a wonderful book. John Morrows does an exhaustive research job in terms of this. It's also considered to be an issue of the Jack Kirby Collector, but he did it in a different format just a couple of years back. Stuff said, Kirby and Lee. And the Genesis the complex genesis of the Marvel Universe in its creator's own words, and it takes excerpts from things they say. He doesn't take a side. He lets, does it in their own words. This is a brilliant book as well. I recommend both of these. If you're a weirdo like me who is obsessed with comic books history and the minutia of it, the inside baseball of it. So just a couple of little recommendations there. I want to thank everyone for being here with us today. Wow. Every now and then we get a weird sound. I don't know what is it about the Global Geek Gang, but I love that.
I don't know, but I can say
Are you
I had
hearing
my
it as
mic
well?
off. I
was
heard
muted.
it as well too. My mic was off, so I know it.
No, I'm just wondering if I'm the
wasn't
only.
me.
I'm just wondering if I'm the only one hearing it. That's all.
No,
I'm
no,
here.
you're not
I
hearing
didn't
me.
hear anything.
It's in the background, but I do hear it.
Okay, just kidding. Anyway, this is what it
I was
is.
actually muted, so it weren't me.
Yep. Who knows? Could be StreamYards. Anyway, so 60 years ago today, folks, Fantastic Four debuted. It won't be celebrated properly by Marvel. I'm not saying we really celebrated it properly, but we showed love to it at least, and we did it on the day, 60 years to the day. One other recommendation. I better do one more before we get out of here. The last time Marvel, in my opinion, properly celebrated this was the 40th. And have any of you ever seen or have this comic right? Let me take this sticker down so you can see it. Hang on.
Come on, do it. Oh. What's this one? Is that the one?
Almost forgot with all the other stuff going on. Yes. It was a 12-issue. Did it all year for the whole year. For the 40th anniversary, they celebrated the Fantastic Four. And what they did was they had Bruce, Tim, and a bunch of other Kirby's Kirby guys who could do a Kirby type of art. Do a 12-issue maxi series. It's been compiled into a hardcover form in the old Kirby style. It's fun, just a fun, goofy story that feels like the old days. It's such a great nostalgia trip. Pure fun, as you can see.
I
Anyone
had
remember
the
this?
number one. I had the number one actually. I
Okay.
might even still have it. I remember getting the number one, and because I remember at the time I was reading a lot of Daredevil at the time. I remember picking up the number one. Oh, and this number 5 here. And for some reason, I just missed the others. And now is maybe a good time for me to get right back on it. But I still got number 1 and number 5.
Okay, well, I just wanted to show that, do a couple little, end with a couple little recommendations, because that was the last time they, in my opinion, adequately celebrated the Fantastic Four on its anniversary. So, and in 2011 for the 50th, they didn't do jack due to except put that in a trade. So, anyway, thank you all tonight for being with us. I'll go around the horn really quick. Of course, Raymond, thank you so much for being here tonight. A few closing words on the FF.
Well, I'm very honored to be in this august panel discussing probably my favorite comic series ever.
Oh, Raymond, your mic is really low. Could you close your mic? Sorry to interrupt, but really tough to hear.
Is this better?
A little bit.
Okay, how about now?
Go ahead,
I can hear
man.
better. Yep.
A little bit.
All right, sorry about that. Yep.
Oh, no worries. I'm very honored to be in this panel. I love the Fantastic Four. It really got me started on comics and really on my geekdom. So thanks, Clobby, for having me. And another recommendation, it's kind of a quirky series, but go to, if you can find it, find First Family. It's a different take on the origin of the Fantastic Four after they've crashed. I enjoy it.
All right. Let's see here. Nick, did you say did you have anything else, or did you closing words?
Closing words. So always, it was my first favorite Marvel team, and I came back around to it, and in my mid-20s, and stuck with it since, and it will always be. And Johnny Storm is one of my favorite characters alongside Spider-Man and Daredevil as well. I will always reread these stories. I will always recommend Lee and Kirby. And of course I did like Scotty Young did a solo run of the Torch. It was a mini he did with Humberto Ramos. That was a mini series. I did enjoy that as well. And that could be just maybe the Torch fan of me speaking, but I do enjoy that as well as far as comic book recommendations. And folks, seek out the action figures too. There's a lot of great ones, whether it's for please watch the season 2 cartoon. Watch it. It's wonderful, especially that second season. It literally is basically a lot of the story arcs come to life. Even some of the episode titles are the names of the actual comic book issues. Watch season 2, especially. Like I said, my favorite arc was 57 through 60, which is based off the last 2 episodes, which they turned into a 2-parter for the show. So, like, I could stress enough on season 2. You will have a joyride. Everything about Fantastic Four is just transcendent for what Marvel Comics is, was, and eventually became.
Thank you, buddy. Retro?
Thank you. It was an honor.
Well, again, thank you very much for having me on. I know I didn't contribute too much, but I must say, absolutely wonderful being on with all the fellow panelists. Absolute joy to listen to everyone's take on the Fantastic Four. The absolute love for the franchise. Again, myself, I love the cartoons. Absolutely loved all the Marvel stuff. Hulk, X-Men, Spider-Man. Absolutely fantastic characters. Brilliant. Really enjoyed it because you've got so much wonderful knowledge, and it's just a great joy. Just a great joy to be here with everyone because you can just feel the love, and it's just it's fantastic. Really, really enjoyed being here with everyone, and thanks to the chat. The chat has been absolutely awesome as well. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Mark.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I just echo what everyone said. I mean, it's been a great time on this panel, and appreciate you having me here. And it's always a blast. I love being able to share my junk or stuff or it's just it's really fun. That's showing the love of the Fantastic Four, and just that's why I love that character, the Thing, so much. You got Mr. Fantastics, the explorer, the scientist, and Johnny's the hothead, and Sue's the glue that holds it all together. So it's the team that started it all, and just if you haven't read some of these issues that everyone's recommended, try to find them digitally, or like Nick said, that's an awesome rec. And Clobbering Times to watch that second season of the Fantastic Four cartoon. I did eventually finish watching it, and I did get married. So, but it was just great to be on the panel with Loki and Purple, and who else am I missing that were had to leave earlier. But it's just a great panel to be on and talk about why we love this classic IP. And I know we. I'm always an optimist, but maybe we'll get lucky with the movie. Probably not, but we've got all these old great issues and old cartoons and things you can enjoy, and so there's plenty of old stuff to read. And thank you again, Clobbering Times, for having me on. Much appreciated. Thank you.
My pleasure, buddy. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for all you do, buddy. And Ash, what you got, man?
Well, thanks for having me on. As always, the Global Geek Gang streams are so much fun. And I haven't read any Fantastic Four comics yet. That will be rectified eventually. And being the youngest, that'll on almost every stream. That's kind of going to be the case, either comics or not watching a film or a show or whatever. But it's fun to come at it from a different perspective, being movies first and then the original material. And just learning from all you guys has just been awesome, and learning about comic recommendations and where to start. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I personally am looking forward to the future movie because we'll get more Fantastic Four. Keep almost saying Final Fantasy. Too many Fs.
That page. I love this page.
Ash, you still saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was literally just wrapping up and saying like, Fantastic Four is one of the pivotal arcs or groups in Marvel. It's shaped a lot of Marvel history and things like that. So, and it's definitely to get into the nitty gritty of it. So, it's just an honor to be discussing it with you guys on the 60th anniversary of all days. So, yeah, a lot of fun, and thanks again.
Thank you. Jed?
Sorry, my allergies have been bad, so.
Okay. Gotcha.
I want to say thank you to everybody here, and please subscribe to everybody that's on the channel if you haven't subscribed to them. Clobberin, brother, I want to thank you for always letting me come on with you. You know, I love it. And so I just, yeah, Fantastic Four means a lot to me because it was one of my first too. So, and you know, it just. You know, like I said, I found it funny. If it was for the Superman movie, because I said I love this. I wish there was more books about this, and then takes me to the comic store, and then I find out about Fantastic Four. So, you know, and then it began from there. So, you know, and then I found out my dad was a Fantastic Four person too. So,
well, there you go.
You know, that he collected comics when he was younger. So.
Well, everyone out there, thank you, bud. Appreciate everyone out there. You could Jed's channel, Nick's channel, Lark's channel. All of them are in the description below, and of course, as is Raymond's books, and of course, Purple's wonderful channel. We thank the wonderful Purple Valkyrie for being here, the great Stone Loki for being here, the great Lord Thoth for being here, and every one of you out there in the chat. Thank you so much. Jack Kirby month continues. Monday night, of course, will be well, in keeping with what we're talking about tonight. I just figured we should just sort of like, you know, stay with that. We did a Kirby show last week that was different. This week it'll be called Fantastic Jack. We're going to just talk a lot more about, specifically focus a good bit on Kirby's FF. So that we'll be doing Monday night. But I want to thank my great panel, all my great friends for being here with me tonight. And you know what? You know, I say stuff about Stan sometimes. I have problems with them. But I want to thank Jack Kirby and Stan Lee for giving us the Fantastic Four. We all owe them a great debt, all the entertainment they've given us with these characters, all the wonderful stories and everything like that. So they get a shout out from Clobberin Times. Both of them do today.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So
well, thank you. And thanks, Jed. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, Retro. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Nick. And, of course, again, thanks,
Thank
Lord
you,
Thoth,
man.
Purple
Always.
Valkyrie, and, of course, the great Stone Loki. And speaking of the great Stone Loki, before I say that, I should say thank you all in the chat there. What a great chat we've had. You've all been fantastic. So many of you there, including the lovely Arwen, great Chris Persia, the great Eric K. D. Bud Martin was here with us. Just so many of you were here. I can't even remember you all. So many of you. Matthew Pounder, thank you. That 70s, thank you. Anyone else who was here? Hey, Red Shirt, good to see you. Any other friends who made it here? Pat S., all the ones who were here tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate you who were here early. Anyone we missed, sorry about that. That's on me. But have a wonderful rest of the night. And hey, FF forever. And speaking of the great Stone Loki, thank him for this wonderful intro outro that he made for me that really fits more than ever fits in with tonight. So have a great one, everybody.